So, what are we doing, Ed? What is this? What's happening now?
Well, thank you very much, Jack, for messing up the first half of the previous stream. So now we have the joy of sitting here and watching the whole thing and commentating it again because there was no audio recorded for the first 2.5 hours. So
That is the case. I was warned twice that there was no audio, and then I turned my mic off and then back on again, and there was still no audio. I saw a bar which said no audio, and I thought, that's weird, that bar doesn't look like normal, and then just ignored it.
and then came on very frustrated and dejected towards the end of the stream and said, "Oh, I messed up."
No, Blep, the Mushasha player, just came into my stream chat at one point and went, "By the way, the stream is muted," and I went, "Fuck!" But none of you will hear that because the stream is muted.
Oh god, that's so funny.
So in fact,
does that mean Black was stream sniping?
I think he was. This was like during a pause or something.
Okay, of course.
Sure.
Of course, Black. Oh my god, I haven't had much of a chance to look at that horrible border gore in France.
I know, it's terrible. The two.
I didn't even realise Cologne was getting involved in that border gore either, because they're kind of very similar to. Actually, they're quite nice and neat.
Yeah, but... Cologne's got his border sorted out, and he's formed Hanover. Spoiler alert: he forms Hanover later.
Ah, see, that's. Does Hanover have good ideas? I presume mostly trade.
It has amazing ideas, actually.
Really? Look it up.
They've got morale, discipline, goods produced, dev cost. It's like the meta nation.
What?
It's ridiculous. It's like second in terms of the German tag. It's like second to Prussia.
Goodness me. Oh, the other thing I was going to suggest. Did you want to put on some EU4 music in the background, just so that it's not just us?
I wonder if I can.
Just play it through Spotify or something.
Hold on. There may be audio in the. There may be music in the recording of the video, or there may not. I'm actually not sure. We can't hear anything. But there may be in the background. We'll try this and hope to God.
Okay. We can always mute the video and then just put our voices with the extra music on top. Holy bloody Christ! Construction costs, trade power abroad, state maintenance, dev costs, land maintenance, plus 5% land fire damage, and minus 15% fire damage received.
It's quite impressive, isn't it?
Plus 1 prestige, 10% goods produced, 1 diplomatic relation, not to be underrated, and 5% discipline. That is absurd. That is actually ridiculous.
I'm hoping I haven't ruined the syncing of the audio here.
When you're tabbed?
Potentially, yes. I've just scrolled over Tibet. I'm now hovering over Tibet again, Chagtai.
Yeah, it's fine.
Hopefully this works. I'm sorry to whoever's watching this. Look, I'm new at streaming, and it went well up until now. I was wondering why the views were significantly down for this stream, and I can't blame people.
Who's that amazing player over there in that yellow country?
It's getting quite big now, isn't it?
Really rather large. The font could be bigger.
Yeah.
It's only got 4 letters. Need to go for some mega font size.
Qing.
Qing.
I'm
reading a book actually on the whole history of China. It's very interesting.
Interesting.
It's really, my favourite story from it, which is so funny. This is like really early days of China. Like I think this is from one of the first emperor before the Qin emperor, who is buried with the Terracotta Army. I do believe he was the first person to unite the whole of China. I think it was him or someone before him in his country, but probably not related, in North China. Anyway, wanted to conquer Sichuan. And basically the roads to get there were really, really bad. So you wouldn't be able to march an army because it was all marshy and boggy, and like it would just be impossible to march an army the size of China because they had armies with hundreds of thousands. So you just couldn't get there. He wanted to conquer Sichuan. So what he did is he invited diplomats from Sichuan to come to his country. And when they were coming, he made sure on the road he had specially made solid stone cows with shit coming out the back of them, and then he had them painted in actual gold, so that they were they had their cow shit painted in gold, So that the diplomats that came past thought that he had cows, shit gold. And then they came to him and they said, wow, maybe we can come to some kind of an agreement on whatever. And said, well, maybe we can take those cows back to the king. And he said, yeah, of course. He said, well, but they're really heavy. They weigh like tons and tons and tons. How the hell are you going to get them there? So, okay. They went back to the king. The king said, no, I must have these cows. You build a road to this guy's kingdom. So they built this road. They had tens of thousands of people building a road to this kingdom. They sent the cows to this kingdom. And then like 4 years later, he just marches an army of like 200,000 up this road and conquers all of Sichuan in like a couple of months. It's so funny.
What is it?
Happened.
What is it with ancient cultures and ridiculously elaborate plans to get in another kingdom? It's this and the giant horse.
Oh, it's so funny. You just can't even believe that, but it's happened. It's true.
Yeah,
and that area on the map, I mean, it's huge. It's all around where it says the T of Tibet down towards, nearish Canton. It's a very large area.
Yeah.
It's so funny. But I wouldn't have wanted to be a Chinese emperor. They're just always getting murdered.
It happens to most ancient emperors, doesn't it?
Mm.
It's like people, you murder somebody and you become the new Roman Empire, new Roman Emperor, and you're like, well, what do you think is going to happen to you in a week?
Yeah, like in that one period in Rome when they went through 7 emperors in a year. When you're emperor number 5, you're like, am I different?
Yeah, it just keeps on going forever. Like,
yeah,
it's never
the
going to
Praetorian Guard turn up at your door. You're like, oh god, it's time.
Yeah.
Stab away. Oh. Excellent. Right, so what have we got going on so far? Nothing so far, do we?
There's no player wars at the moment. Oh, then suddenly one pops up. That's Prussia and Florence. That's just
Prussia.
because.
Oh, is this this?
It's just a fake
They've
war.
had a few phony wars.
Yeah, it's because Florence, I think, is defender of the faith.
Oh right, okay. Yeah.
So,
it's annoying. I realised you can't get defender of the faith as Shinto.
No, unfortunately not.
Timmies, when Timmies appeared, it's quite. I mean, they're scary looking Timmies.
They are quite a large Timmy, but unfortunately he was kind of tied down by Prussia, not Prussia, Persia even.
Yeah, I mean it was, very. I'm impressed by his dedication to Persia. That he didn't just when Persia got down to OPM in that session with OPM Persia, 100% autonomy. How he didn't just abandon him and eat him.
Now you can see Livonia starting to finish off Muscovy.
Yeah,
he's going.
I thought he would have done that sooner. He's gone a bit slower than I thought.
he is going way slower than I was expecting.
Thought he would have rushed Russia.
Yeah.
I mean, he needs some of Smolensk, doesn't he? Is that a vassal?
But yeah, fair Smolensk vassals, I think.
Right, because he needs Smolensk provinces, I'm pretty sure, doesn't he? To form
He does indeed, yeah.
That's an error of him to do that.
Well, he's behind on tech at this point. I think he might be Tech 9 or even Tech 8 at this point in the game.
Right. Oh God. How? Seriously. And Georgia has really tried. Like, is Georgia cutting him off completely? I thought they were friends.
Well, it's complicated as I understand it.
Yeah.
I think they weren't friends at this point in the game, at least. And later on, because of some of the actions that will occur, shall we say, his alliance block shifts to the north.
Really? Oh, interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing that. But when I spoke to, because I did speak to Russia at one point to try and come to a deal, and he basically said, no deal, expecting to fight you. So I said, okay. But he said he was friendly with Georgia.
Yeah.
At that point, which will surprise me. Or maybe Georgia said he was friendly with Russia.
Well, Georgia just didn't really have anywhere else to go. I mean, look at him.
Yeah.
It's north or it's the AQ hug box, and there's no breaking that. They've tried multiple times.
Yeah. I'm impressed with Karaman.
Yeah.
What is it at this point? Who is this? I think is this Ning I'm at war with? I believe so.
Ning, right?
Yeah, I think it's Ning. Just cleaning up all my
and then we
cores.
can just see the end of the cores and.
I've got a core on Taiwan as well. I bet I'm going to get in the next VC on Taiwan.
Oh, that's highly likely, yeah.
I told Japan that when he took Hainan State. I said, I'm probably going to get a VC on you because I'm going to get cores and all that land. He said, oh, well, we'll solve that when it comes to it. So we'll have to wait and see whether that gets resolved.
How did he think you were going to solve that when it comes to it?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
To be fair, at that point in time, he did say, yeah, we'll solve that when it comes to it, but like, it's not like I could fight you at this point in time. But this was like 2 sessions before this, or a session before this.
Yeah, the ridiculous Spanish mission tree that's almost as bad as the Qing one, which gives cores on all of China.
Yeah. It's hard to get. I mean, you do have to eliminate Ming, which is no easy feat. Become Chinese emperor and eliminate Ming, or get rid of the Chinese emperorship.
Me and a couple of the admins are looking into possibly modding some of the mission trees because I'm not a huge fan of the way they are at the moment. My main issue isn't necessarily the strength of them. I agree that getting cores on all of China kind of makes sense, and it's a good way to get around some of the ways that EU4 works, and the way that Asia doesn't really work, but doesn't play by the same rules that Europe does. So it's a good way to kind of get around.
But the whole mandate of heaven thing, it just makes sense because it's not so much France having cores on France because it's French. It's you have cores on it because you have the mandate of heaven, and the mandate of heaven is fluid and goes through cycles. Yeah. So if you have the mandate of heaven, I almost think it would make more sense to basically give you cores on all of Asia after a certain period of time of you being. So if you're emperor, you can get the mandate up to 100. You get cores on all of China.
It's a difficult thing to do, but the main issue I have with it is a kind of the arbitrariness of the missions, in that the AI doesn't understand that completing this mission or doing this thing will have such a huge impact on their game.
Yeah.
Whereas a player is so much better able to understand the strategy of going through the mission trees than the AI is.
Yeah.
With some of the ridiculous ones where you do this mission, you get this arbitrary province, and then you get a personal union CB on Spain for 10 years. The AI doesn't understand that it needs that province, and when it gets a 10-year CB, it doesn't understand that you have to declare it now and that that's what you were doing. It just clicks the mission button and then waits for it to decay.
That is bad, isn't it? Did I just see that Tibet is second in the Great Power List at this point?
That's probably likely. The Texas Shimazu War. This was very interesting.
I have been looking forward to watching this.
My commentary over here was very, very confusing because I could not tell whose vassal was whose.
So Texas has the numbers to begin with.
No, he does not. He's got Great Britain and Rugen on his side, and neither of them are going to help.
Yeah, because Shimazu's ideas are just.
They're
really
very good.
He doesn't have any Manchu provinces, as we've said. So even though he is Manchu, he doesn't have any banners.
He has a couple of Manchu provinces, but not enough to make even one banner.
Well, look at that! A samurai fighting a Dutchman in the Aztec hills.
Yeah.
The Dutch Texan in the Aztec hills.
Shimazu wins the first battle, but if I recall correctly, Shimazu is up to 2 techs behind at this point.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Probably 1 tech behind, and then Texas takes the next tech.
That is really impressive that he's.
This is me trying to search for what the claim is for.
Oh gosh!
And there it is, right in the middle, right looking at it.
Right. So whose core is that? That must be vassals.
That's that's directly on Texas, I think. And you can see that the vassals' colours are often very close to Texas as well.
Stack wipe? Oh god!
It isn't.
Wait. Oh, I just saw them going in.
Yeah, it isn't a stack wipe. Unfortunately, because Shimazu is so far behind on tech, and for the other reason, this is what again, spoiler alert, I suppose, this is what will destroy Shimazu in the upcoming war. Their vassals keep getting into the battles, and their vassals have a lower, what's it called? Combat width. The vassals have a lower combat width than the rest of the fighters.
If the vassal starts the war,
well, they keep going in. They keep going into these battles, and they have a lower combat width, so they stand behind the regular army, and they just lose morale over and over again.
Oh Christ!
And they've got a discipline of minus 10%.
Because they're natives.
Yep.
Right.
So their army, what is happening is their army is taking damage, and it's applying the morale losses to the rest of the actual Shimazu army, which is much better.
Right. I see. God, he's really hunting down these Texans.
He has to.
I'm running away. Poor Ahmed.
Now you can see Shimazu. He has some money in the bank, and he's not losing a huge amount of money. If we go over, when we eventually go over to Texas, you'll see that isn't the case for him.
He's got that. He's got. Oh, God, those Shimazu ideas are so good. He's really unlocked so many of them, actually.
He has, yeah. Now this won't be a wipe either, I think.
He does have 0.2 more morale. Yeah, well, I don't think it'll be a wipe, but quite.
And the other thing is, if you're wiping an enemy, you need to make sure you have 2 times the numbers that they do. Otherwise, it won't be a wipe. Which not a lot of people know, and results in a lot of people being very confused. And you can see Texas making a load of mercenaries up here.
Yeah.
And if we look at his debt, whew.
Yeah, I remember at this point because I could, because I'm a great power, so I can see how much debt people have got. And I'm friendly with Shimazu, so he kept asking me. He said, "Okay, can you look at Texas? How much debt does he have? How much debt does he have now?" He said, "I'm worried about him building up all these mercs."
At one point here, I'm pretty sure he's losing 100 ducats a month. Compared to Shimazu, who I think at maximum might have been losing 10 ducats a month. And I presume he was getting funded as well because Shimazu's income increases, Shimazu's treasury increases dramatically over the course of the war.
Really? He didn't get any from me.
It must have been for Japan, or perhaps Dewey. Dewey, who was sending money to everyone, it would appear.
Sorry, I went to close. Do my damn lights, they keep flickering. Those stupid things. He's really going for the kill, isn't he? See, that is the right move.
It is.
That's the right move. Going straight for that fort, trying to trap him and.
Well, it's also if you can steal his gold mine as well, that'll do a huge amount of damage. He's got several gold mines in central Mexico. Yeah. That was what Ahmed was telling me. His plan was to go and siege down Shimazu's gold mines, but it's too much, unfortunately, for him.
Yeah. See, if he can get this siege as well, there's a river right there. So if you could just sit some men there, and they can't do a damn thing.
But you'll be surprised soon to see just how poor the Shimazu army ends up being.
Well, if you're 2 techs behind, even if you've got those ridiculous ideas, it's huge.
2 techs plus, 2 techs plus. Look, you can see the vassals are all taking centre stage here. And the guy in charge, -10 discipline, minus tactics, and they get absolutely destroyed.
90% discipline. So that's an 18% discipline differential and 0.7 tactics differential. That's huge.
Absolutely huge.
He's nearly winning this one though. Oh no, Texas coming in.
Yeah.
That was so tight.
And he wins it. And Texas coming in.
Shimazu just about wins it.
It's still such. I don't think Shimazu was expecting things to be this bad for him.
No.
I mean, this is. It looks a lot like Texas is leagues above Shimazu in these battles.
Yeah, but I mean, particularly considering look how weak Texas's troops are there. They're still holding their own against like 3 times as many.
Yeah.
Shimazu.
Now, of course, the double battle will increase the tick on the siege.
Yeah.
But going into this, Texas told me he was very, very confident. He thought he'd done everything he could, and honestly, he did as well as he possibly could have. But I don't think he ever had a chance, honestly.
Yeah, he told that to me because he came in because Shimazu is still a tributary of Qing at this point. And so obviously I would have got called in if Texas had declared. So he did come and say, what are you going to do? And I said, it's too far away. I can't really do anything. I said I am friendly with Shimazu, but
now there's this huge war has occurred. I say huge war. What has happened here is AQ has declared on the Wallachian vassal of the Ottomans, and at the moment he can't reach it. Because
that was clever, because Karaman's not giving him access.
Yeah, Karaman will not give him access, so he can't reach it, unfortunately. So it's a bit of a cold war at the moment.
That's so funny. Karaman's done really well to hang in there. He's
been very tenacious, yeah.
Because just every war, I swear every war, is he actually in this game at this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's going
Yeah, of
until
course he
pretty
is.
much the end of the session.
It's Doctor Applejuice. Oh, excellent. And where is he from? He's somewhere in America, isn't he? Canada. Um, yeah, but anyway, I swear every single wall that I saw in that area is just, oh look, they're smashing up Karaman
Well, because
again.
Karaman was always the weakest link in the chain.
Yeah.
You know, in the last war, I think Timurids had like 40% more morale than the attackers. So that everyone just went, nope, I'm not going there. And then but like they all turn around, look at Karaman. Karaman's like, why is everyone looking at me?
He's unfortunate. He got stuck between a rock and a hard place. I mean, it's such a hard position in.
Yeah, he screwed up a bit early game as well. He was too slow.
Yeah, I did.
He also declared a separate war against the Ottomans, and the Ottomans did exactly the same thing. They went, well, the weak one here's Karaman. I'm going for them.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Because it's such a difficult position because you either have to get racing ahead and get really strong and kill a player next to you to give you room to expand, or you just end up being trapped and then not good. You know, I feel like whenever you're trapped, it's really hard to do your diplo well enough to get out of it in that position because everyone wants that land because it's really good for trade and really good for feeding it through to Europe.
Yeah, nearly 100 ducats a month here, just in army maintenance. He's
Look
way
at
over
that. Three times nearly.
And that's all because he just hasn't consolidated his army. And I suppose you can't with the new merc changes. It makes it much more difficult to do. Plus, they're mercs, so they're really expensive.
Do you know what mercs Texas gets? Will he get European mercs because of his tech type, or will he get American?
He'll get European mercs, I'm pretty certain. And this is the other problem with the mercs is they arrive at different speeds, so you end up going in piecemeal. Which Paradox allegedly has fixed in the update that was broken. They rolled back.
Well done, Paradox.
So when that update eventually comes out, which I'm sure it will, I'm sure it still will. Hopefully, Merc should be fixed.
They ought to learn their lesson and not cock it out.
Yeah. It's the same multiplayer system that CK3 and Imperator use, isn't it? That they were switching to.
Is it? I've not tried CK3 multiplayer to be honest.
There's in a different Discord I'm in, people are talking about running an Imperator multiplayer for the new update, which apparently is very good. But they're saying that it can't handle more than about 12 players running at the same time.
And that's a more recently made game. That doesn't bode well for this system.
For our game, we couldn't keep playing multiplayer if it was.
No, I mean if they actually release that and it's like that, that'll kill multiplayer for E4.
I'm not sure it will kill it, but it will not be going past this version.
Put it in a coma until they fix it.
Well, the problem is they've been using this system for well over a year now. I'm not entirely convinced that it can be fixed, but I'm not going to say any more about it. But if it does happen and it doesn't get fixed, we will probably be playing on this patch forever.
For a long time. Well, I work for a tech consultancy, so maybe I should give them a call.
Yeah.
So we go. What we do is go in and sort out people who have crappy tech and platforms that don't meet their users' need and make them align with their users' needs better. And,
Well, actually, I think that's exactly what's happened here. Is they switched to using a pre-packaged piece of software. They don't write their own. Or they're planning on not writing their own multiplayer code anymore because the whole thing's just spaghetti and awful to work with.
Problem. I bet that. I mean, I won't get into it on this, but I bet that I can imagine the way that they have developed it, and I can't imagine that it's the sort of modern type of.
Well, the game's 8 years old at this point, something like that.
Yeah. And I imagine they've just started, added to it in one lump, rather, where it's one lump that gets bigger and bigger, rather than being like the sort of modern way of doing it, which is more microservices, where you have lots of tiny little bits that interact together, and you can take one out, replace it much easier than you can with these sort of things.
I think EU4 definitely has a much bigger multiplayer community than any other game, and I'm confident that we will continue. It'll continue to work, and there'll be more from us soon.
I am also. I mean, it's such a commercial own goal for them to mess it up. And do you think they're going to do an EU5 soon? Because it looks to me like they're continuing to invest in EU4.
Yeah, it's a difficult one for them as well. They've kind of painted themselves into a hole almost in the same way as Half-Life did, where there isn't really much incentive to make a new one because when the new game comes out, they can't put all the features in there in EU4 because it's taken them 8 years to make this game. You know, CK3 came out. I know everyone loves it, but it is missing a lot of the features from CK2.
Oh yeah, it's brilliant, but I'm waiting for the next DLC because it's just not quite, doesn't feel as full.
And I don't think that people would be willing to accept that in EU5.
But I wonder whether maybe they can just do some kind of a huge upgrade to the game. Work out some way of doing it. I wonder.
Yeah, I feel like EU4 would have to have been abandoned for several years before that's something they can do. Because if they keep updating EU4, if EU4 is still alive, then making an EU5, there's no reason for anyone to buy it. At some point, you have to make sure that EU5 is better than EU4.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and CK2 was what, 3 years older than EU4 or something.
Yeah.
Is that optimum?
But CK2. Yeah. Okay. So I believe we probably missed this or maybe talked over it, but Karaman in the end did grant AQ access. He betrayed his ally.
Right.
And AQ has taken the vassals from Wallachia. Now,
I see.
This was, at the time, I remember calling it a bold move, because the Ottomans have cores on all of Karaman.
Yeah, and Wallachia and Serbia.
Yes. So Karaman was very much banking on the fact that this would cause AQ to kill Wallachia first.
That's what's known. That is a bold move.
Yeah.
That is a bold move. It's almost shooting yourself in the. No, that's the wrong saying. I don't even know. Anyway, bit of an own goal, I would have said.
Yeah.
I would have anticipated. I can't exactly imagine AQ going, oh, well, I'll eat Wallachia first, but then I'll leave you be with all my cores for my subject.
It wouldn't surprise me if AQ was thinking, okay, I'll declare war on Wallachia. He won't bother fighting me. He'll be okay with giving me the vassal so I can eat Karaman. And then Wallachia was like, no, I'm not giving you that. And Karaman went, I'll give it to you.
I think, and yeah, I mean, to be fair, Kat would say that Karaman's in a very difficult position.
Certainly. And in the previous war, Karaman was getting full siege, and Wallachia was sitting on the border, did not join, waited for Karaman to get the separate peace out, and then joined the war.
Yeah.
Despite being allied to Karaman. So whether that was just simple revenge, I'm not sure.
Yeah. So yeah, and I mean, he's got to do something. He's got to try something. So at this point, I think he's pretty desperate.
For sure.
What ideas does Alaska have? I wonder.
I think they're relatively poor. And I was looking at this. Shimazu has the option to adopt the Manchu identity.
Really?
Yes, he's according to the game, he's allowed to form Manchu.
In his mission tree.
There's a button for Manchu. Even though Qing, yeah.
Oh, because he's. Yeah, I see. Does that turn him into a horde?
I have no idea, actually. I imagine not. There's very few events that will turn you into a horde. I've looked for them.
That would be quite a change in your society. So at this point, so he's winning the war.
Yeah, quite solidly, actually. Except it looks like Shimazu's winning the war. Texas is winning the war quite solidly. But Shimazu is not in any debt at all, whereas Texas is in significant debt. So every battle that Texas wins, he can't afford to win.
Oh wow! Look at him; he's absolutely trashing those Shimazu troops.
And now he comes.
It's a bit of a grind, then, isn't it? From Shimazu, it's just lose battles, but it doesn't matter because you've got all your subjects.
Because you haven't gone 4 times over force limit.
Yeah, I'm surprised that someone like England didn't come and help Texas out, or because he had allies, didn't he?
Well, kind of. You may notice if we ever go back to it that there's a little English colony in America. So
has he gone colonial? Interesting. Well, I guess he has to, doesn't he?
Well, he promised Texas that he would not go colonial if he fled to the New World, and then once he fled to the New World, England immediately took colonial ideas and said, "I'm not going to help you."
I see.
So he immediately betrayed him, while he's now conquering the copse of old Flanders.
Yeah. See that Florence is just so nice. He's just got so much development.
He's doing very, very well.
I didn't realise how good the Florentine ideas are.
They're good, yeah. And the nation starts with a 556 ruler.
Because he's a republic, isn't he?
Yep. He starts with Cosimo de' Medici.
Yeah. See, that's the only thing, because he could form Italy. The Italian ideas are good. I'm just not sure they're better.
Yeah, we see Japan in Alaska for some reason.
I don't know why. Oh, I know why. It's because his troops kept dying in the ships on the way over.
I think the reason why is because he can't get maps of the area because he doesn't border it. He doesn't have
but you
troops
can usually do that with your... Oh, I think he had... Wait, does he walk down?
He eventually gets back on a ship and moves over.
I think because before this war, because he did it with me, Shimazu, I sent one transport ship that went and died, and progressively got maps all the way to Mexico.
Right.
Just in case my involvement was required, which it wasn't, and I was keen for it not to. But if it was getting bad, I was going to go and help.
So there truly was no hope for Ireland. The Qing, Japan, and Shimazu versus just him.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted it to be a good fight. I wanted it to be a fair fight, but
up until the point that he was losing.
Yeah, I wanted Shimazu to win, basically.
I believe there's a huge pause here while we discuss your tributaries.
Oh yeah, my trips thing.
Yeah, that was my fault, I suppose. We talked about you having tributaries, and I never thought to mention the fact that you're not allowed to have subjects. I wasn't really sure whether or not that would be included or not, and honestly, I don't think we thought anyone would take the mandate. Quite frankly.
Yeah, I mean, usually people that take the mandate in multiplayer are fucking idiots. So
yeah,
it's a hugely risky play. You lose one war and you're fucked.
But the mandate has served you quite well so far.
Pretty well, but I think mostly because I've done good diplo and things.
Yeah. And the changes to the mandate, which means that you're allowed to border people without immediately exploding.
Yeah, you don't get any negative mandate from having people around, which I mean makes sense. But they nerfed a lot of the other mandate gains.
They did, yeah.
But that rule was just really stupid because it just means you're not bordering Russia and then you just blow up because they're too big. And also in multiplayer it just doesn't work, so it would never be feasible.
Yeah.
I wanted to do it because it's fun. I wanted to role play and be real Qing.
Yeah.
You know?
It's really nice to have a Qing like this in the region for balance and.
Yes, for balance. Balance.
Well, no. I understand that you're very powerful, but you're an influence in the region that stops it from just descending into chaos and madness. Yes,
I was actually kind of my intention, even with the player tributes, was to be a bit of an Asian peacemaker.
Yeah.
I would have actually defended everyone that was a trib if they'd got declared on by anyone. There we go. To be honest, I didn't actually think it benefited me very much at all. I didn't give me that much mandate gain.
No.
I didn't even need it that much. Most of my mandate gain comes from events.
And you don't get any score on your tributary either.
Yeah.
So that's a huge impact on anyone who wanted to be a long-term tribute. And they can't ally you. No, when you're a tributary, you gain no score at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realise it was no score.
It is no score, yeah.
Okay. I just thought it was you just couldn't become a great power.
That too.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's just, but anyway, there we go. I think I can get all 5 reformed.
I think you can too, for certain.
I still have that mission to get +20 mandate if I get 10 tributaries. Because I forgot about it. So I'm trying to beat up some AI and get them free, so that I can get 10. I've got 2 or 3 so far.
We'll be keeping an eye on you to make sure you don't have a player tribute for a day.
Mm.
Get like 10 players to be tributary for him one day, and then suddenly disappeared. He's got 20 mandate.
That would be a bit cheeky. So the only trouble is, right, because when we made this decision, I couldn't do it. I obviously cancelled, because I'm a good boy. I cancelled all the tributes straight away. I couldn't cancel Sindh because I had a treaty with him. And then we went, he went into war and I was in a war, so I couldn't cancel it then either. And it was, I was like, I'm really sorry, I just can't do it.
Yep.
Can't cancel it.
No.
But I cancelled everyone else, and I did it immediately the day that we were at peace.
Yeah, we all understand.
We're probably giving away about the big war for anyone that wasn't on the street.
Well, yeah. Well, I name these parts usually, and there'll be something like.
Have to wait and see. Oh, he's really.
I'm thinking maybe the Shimazu for part 1.
Yeah, Shimazu.
It was terrible puns because I think it's fun.
Yes, I quite like the names, although they all seem to be about me mostly.
Well, this was like session 2, right? Where the only things that were going on were you were conquering things and swapping religion, and everyone else was like, "Well, what about me? I've conquered Desmond."
Yes.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm gonna name. That's what I'm gonna name the episode: the conquest of some
death of
shithole in Ireland.
The death of Desmond. Oh.
It's like the things that are happening are there's a Rugen, there's a Qing, and there's a Prussia. At the moment, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I thought Prussia was going to go for Poland. I mean, it's a risky play by going for Prussia. You're paying a big target on your back.
But Europe is doing its thing, should we say? They're kind of forgetting that there's a Prussia and a Russia there that are building up, and they're just
worrying. That's worrying.
Yeah.
Especially if Prussia and Russia go allied. The only good thing is that it's the Livonian Russia. So it's no Cossacks and no Russian government form.
Is that true?
I think you have to be a Russian principality to get the Russian Empire government form. So I don't think he gets Strutsky.
There were some bugs and stuff when they implemented the new government reforms. It broke everything.
Right, because this might be incorrect. This might be out of date information, but I remember certainly that before, if you were a non-Russian culture nation and you wanted to form Russia and get all the good benefits, you had to do some jiggery pokery that ended up turning you into a Russian principality.
Yes. Yeah.
Like forming Smolensk or something like that. I think I can't remember. And then do Russia.
Yes, that's right. It never used to work like that. Yeah, you had to be a Russian principality first, and then you could get the Tsardom. But you could get the Tsardom by upgrading the government rank from principality, I think. No, there was a button that just says adopt Tsardom. That was what it was before the government reforms.
No, it just turned you into it when you formed Russia.
That true. That too, yeah. But you could also you could also have the Tsardom if you weren't Russia.
Oh, I see.
But there's a bunch of bugs in the code regarding the Tsardom and the English monarchy government type. Where if you're becoming either of them through some jiggery pokery, they sometimes don't work properly. Like if you start as a Russian principality or some other things like that, you actually won't start as a Russian principality. If you do that with a custom nation, you pay the points and you just won't start as one.
Tokon's so pissed. Sorry, mate. Didn't mean to.
Yeah, we paused for way too long to sort this out. It's not worth it.
Oh well. So what about let's look at America. Have you ever seen anyone get re-put in a native in a multiplayer and do well? Like I've seen Incas get reasonably big.
Yeah, I think I've been Inca before.
Really, but I've never seen any North American ones.
Well, they don't.
Or something.
There's obviously a couple of patches ago there was one that was completely broken. in that it could get ridiculously overpowered.
Yeah.
But I think they fixed most of that, and then obviously the new patch that's coming out, the new DLC has a huge update for natives.
Yeah.
Absolutely massive.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I don't actually know the details. I just read about it, but
yeah, I can't remember the details. I've definitely read it, but I don't remember it. But there's like Federation mechanics and stuff going on. Natives will be something that you can play as and enjoy. It looks like.
Do you know the one event that I didn't realise existed? I can't get it now as Qing because I own 2 gold mines. If you own fewer than 2 gold mines as Qing, you get an event that turns a random province's trade good into gold.
That's amazing.
I don't think it's Qing. It's the Emperor of China. Yeah. I don't know what the mean time to happen is, but how good is that event? Random province. It could be fucking Canton or something. Like Beijing, Beijing gold mine. Okay, farmlands. Changing from grain.
God. Talk about like a bunch of fake Chinese Rolexes.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Oh no, yeah, I'm the Emperor of China. I've just found gold in this field.
Yes.
Yeah. That should give you that should give you mandate of heaven. That's clearly blessed by the god. Yeah, I started digging and there was fucking gold underneath my potatoes.
To be fair, that sort of shit happens in China. Like how when they discovered the terracotta army, just some random peasant farmer in the early 1980s walking around. It's near Xi'an. I've been there. It's crazy. It's amazing. But there's just some random peasant farmer walking through his fields, and he falls through the floor in the fields and is surrounded by thousands and thousands of life-size terracotta men. Can you imagine how terrifying that was for this poor simple peasant illiterate farmer? So funny. You know, the terracotta army, they haven't even opened his tomb. So the terracotta army are guarding the tomb. The tomb it looks like a hill. It's like nearby. It's like a big grass pyramid. But they've been working for like 20 years to work out how to open it safely because they're worried if they do it wrong, the whole thing will just collapse. Yeah.
No, I've got to admit, like, I feel bad for like these kind of emperors, especially like the Egyptians or something. Where like, no, we've built 1,000 terracotta men. Stay the fuck away, and archaeologists go, that's cool, I'm digging that up.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
What have I got to do to get you to leave me alone in death?
I feel like you're a pretty cocky bastard though by the time you get to that point. The Qin emperor that did that was a bit of a prat. He was the standard conqueror, not a ruler, so he conquered the whole of China and he was pretty terrible at it and died after 13 years, I think.
Do you know about like the plans for long-term storage of nuclear waste?
What is it?
Well, because it's going to last for hundreds of thousands of years potentially, and they're trying to work out what they can do to stop like future civilizations from digging it up and going like, "What's this?" And like every solution they come up with is stuff like, what if we just put like a bunch of really scary, weird-looking spikes on the ground? And everyone just goes, if you saw a bunch of weird-looking spikes on the ground, what would you do? I'd dig it up. Like, well, clearly something important is buried here.
Oh, goodness me.
Like, they're talking about in every single language, just writing like, bad things lay here, all who come will die. Like, yeah, because that always works.
They should just put it in a big concrete box, surrounded by some open space, and then put loads of animal skeletons around the open space.
anything out of the ordinary, and humans will go and just poke it, because that's what we do.
It's true. Just drop it down the Mariana Trench.
Well, they're thinking about putting it in. There's a planned storage site in Finland, I think, because it's one of the least geologically active areas in the world.
Yeah. Gosh, are we still chatting about this?
No, there was a couple of people who had to, I think, hot join and stuff, but we're also talking about it, yes.
Sindh, I remember Sindh dropped.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah, your score is doing very, very well.
Yeah, I'm just getting that score. I think I'm the lead in. I'm not. Great Britain's got more in admin, but I think I'm the lead in every other category.
I think you are now for certain. The only category that you're not the lead in is Diplo, where I think you're 8th.
In military, I'm a bit behind. To be fair, I think at this point I was about to start building up.
Yeah,
because I just didn't need that big of an army.
Yeah.
Like, and I was still really like consolidating my land.
Yeah.
I believe it's this session, my income went from 70 to 195.
Yeah.
So I was, I really had to consolidate because none of my land was core. I hadn't
I think
organised the state.
you can see here if we look you can see all the natives standing at the back of the line. They won't get in, so then the army's getting flanked as well on top of everything. So even with a -2, the army's getting destroyed. Look at this.
Good niche knowledge for the reasoning why, and 5k natives about to get wiped.
Yep, and this is what happens when you fight the actual natives.
Those ones don't have the -10% discipline.
It might just be there's a general or something. Or it could well be that they've reformed off of it. Another bit of niche knowledge for you. When natives reform, they'll get your government type. So if you migrate as Prussia to Mexico, you can have like 50 different Prussian marches.
I had no idea. That's amazing. Well, Shimazu in this is, I believe he's going theocracy, isn't he? Because he's going to.
Yeah.
He's going to get that Sohei.
That's a huge bonus. That is, 5% discipline, 5% morale, and 5% infantry combat ability. I think it is.
It's something ridiculous.
Absolute madness. Yeah. Shimazu's going to be. Sorry, what's that?
He's independent daimyo as well, isn't he?
Is he? I'm not. I don't know if he will be at this point.
What else would he be?
Well, because I think to be an independent daimyo, you have to be in Japan. I'm not sure if it will stop you from it, because when you form Japan, I think it makes all the other nations not daimyos.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
No, it makes them. I think they can still be an independent daimyo. It makes them not daimyos. Yes, it makes them not daimyos.
I think it makes them just regular monarchies. Might be wrong,
really?
but I for some reason have that in my head that.
I've not played a Japan game in a while. I remember doing an isolationist Japan and just developing it up to like 1,000 devils.
I did a game where I was Oda and my opponent was Shimazu, and that one was absolutely amazing. We both conquered half of Japan. I intervened in a war that perhaps I should not have, and I got pushed back. You can see all the Japanese arriving. I got pushed back all the way to the island of Hokkaido in Ainu. Didn't own any of it, and eventually I came back and won the war, having lost all of Japan to my opponent.
Wow, look at that! 88, like 100,000 troops against like 30,000 Shimazu.
Yeah.
All the Japanese are there though.
Yeah. They take quite a while to join in. It might be now actually they're going to do it.
I think so. They're just standing there ominously.
Yeah, but you can see Great Britain and whatever Rugen is worth is not intervening at all, not helping it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think Japan's to be called in. They're not green yet though.
No.
He's getting worried.
Well, because he didn't know quite how close Texas was to bankruptcy. We may have missed it at one point, but at one point Texas was, I think, 2 or 3 loans away from bankruptcy because his gold mines were sieged. So Shimazu had nearly won this a long time ago.
Yeah, God, I remember you saying that in the stream after the game. That he re-sieged his gold mine. Maybe that's why he was fighting so hard about that province above. Next to Mexico is that gold mine.
The one that's currently being occupied by
rebels.
Yeah, that's a gold mine, I think.
Yeah, so it must be that actually. It might be now.
And I think Japan has joined. There we go.
See, that just it still doesn't turn the balance in numbers, but I mean, obviously Texas isn't going to win.
Well, the numbers are all Great Britain and Rugen.
Oh, of course. I forgot that they're still in this war.
Yeah.
I thought they would have wiped peace out by now.
Yeah. I think. I suppose maybe in typical Yon style, maybe he was thinking, oh well, if I stay in the war and I have wins, I can say that I helped in the war.
Who is Yon? Is he Great Britain?
He's Great Britain, yeah. He has a reputation for not helping his allies.
He really does a bit. Whereas me, I live, bleed and die for my allies. most of the time. Usually one of my faults has got me killed in a few MPs.
Yeah, but what's the point of just constantly abandoning? If you're constantly abandoning your ally, nobody wants to be allies with you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and also it's fun. It's fun fighting big death wars.
Yeah, I love it. I fucking love it. It's so good. This is what the game's about. You just want to be smashing it. That's why that's the reason I don't normally do well, because I can't resist the temptation. I'll be in somewhere, I'm usually in Europe, and I'm like, I could go and conquer this AI, or I could do a load of Diplo and cause a death war.
It's why I've been really enjoying. I was really enjoying playing as subs for a while, because everyone was always laughing at me, saying you always die, you never make any money, and I'm like, well, it's because number one, I like death warring, and number two, I always play as hordes, so of course I'm not going to make any money.
To be fair, you're quite funny. You just always go bankrupt, but you always like smash it. You always like beat people up and just have like great death wars in there.
Like my third bankruptcy, 4 more to go.
1446.
Like it's literally a free money tree. Because it's fun. But yeah, whenever I play as a sub, I start playing seriously, and then people start getting really scared of me.
Yeah. I feel bad for the sub. Who was he originally? It was like Syak. Asai.
Yeah.
Asai. The sub did. just got killed, and the sub like reached out to me, and I was like,
yeah,
there's nothing I can do. I was like, sorry.
I know.
It's a shame that he. Because he got kicked because he released all the nations. Didn't he? He
didn't realise, but at the same time, we had to pause and stop it there, because if you release all the nations, it makes it way easier for them to be conquered, and it kind of screwed with the balance a bit.
Yeah, even though he wanted to play on. So
I know it's difficult because it's not a legal move to make, so we couldn't allow it just because you didn't know that you weren't allowed to do it.
I agree. Should have just released whoever it is. Khmer.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that! See, this is still really close. He just doesn't quite have morale, does he?
Because the natives have taken the front line. I wonder, and I have no evidence for this at all. I wonder if the order at which the units get to the take up position in battle is due to their position in terms of their tag.
See, I wouldn't be surprised.
So if 2 armies arrive at the same date reinforcing, would Sweden go before everything else? Because if you didn't know, Sweden's the first tag.
Sweden's the first what?
And that's it. That's the last line for tag. Sweden is tag number 1 in game.
You think the best?
No. As in because well, no, of course I am right. When 2 armies arrive at this on a province at the same day, the order at which they arrive is determined by their list in the tag order, and Sweden is number 1. So Sweden moves before any other tag.
For God's sake, that's a bit of an annoying disadvantage to have. You have to burn more than your allies.
Yeah, so I think then probably because the natives have been in the game longer, right. they arrive before Shimazu does, and that's why they're constantly in the front line.
Right. Oh, look at those cores.
Yep.
So tasty.
Yep. I love. Yeah. I love AQ's description of why he decided to go into Tunisia and Morocco later. Is it? Lep said, "Why aren't you going west?" And he went, "Oh yeah," and started just conquering it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Because he just went there and like won. That was last session.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? He just did the whole thing away.
Yeah, because the Florentine player had taken over, the Carthaginian part of Tunis, and then suddenly just all of North Africa was conquered by AQ. It's like, where did that come from?
By all accounts, they're friendly. I would have thought they would be, fighting each other, but
yeah. Well, I think Florentine player knows it's just not worth it. Well, he's got 1,000 ducats in the bank.
Oh, okay.
because he's taken all of his loans because
because that's what you've got to do.
yeah, the game doesn't understand that you can't pay it back. It only understands that with the amount of loans that you currently have, if you try to take one more, you wouldn't be able to pay it back. So you've got to be careful about that. If you've ever conquered a new nation, gained a bunch of dev, and then immediately gone bankrupt, that's why.
Is this one? Is this one? Oh, this is one. Texas left.
I'm
Did he
not
give up?
sure. I think somebody might have left, and then also Texas left at the same time because he knew he was done for.
Yeah.
He's just had a very, very bad game. He's a
That's how it
really,
goes, though.
he's a really good
He's a-
player, but he's
He's
good
a
at
fantastic player.
he's good at exactly what he's good at, and that is not trading Flanders.
No, he's good at being some kind of weird, indestructible island.
Well, not even I. Like if he was Germany or Persia.
Oh,
or
I meant
India,
I meant like a land island.
Yeah, yeah. He just builds
surrounded by
Yeah,
enemies.
we have to go for a rehost now, unfortunately.
Okay. No, well.
Yeah, he likes building forts as well. That's
Yeah, he
quite
does.
annoying.
I remember we were chatting about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. His game as Cologne, that was absolutely epic. I loved that. I think I was having to fight him at one point, and then I got into an army. I think that was my Savoy game when I was trying to form France and desperately begging everyone to help me form France just for fun. Yeah, and he had so many forts. He had no coastline, fuck all trade, but like 350, 400 ducats in income. Just as Cologne in the HRE, every province had a fort.
Well, it's just
It's unbelievable. No, like people were walking all the way around his land when they were at war with him, all the way around the outside because they didn't want to siege him because the siege ticks were just so long because he had like 130%.
Well, I mean, you can see Germany's all forests. Like that part of Germany is basically all forest.
Yeah, so it's just so hard.
But he's got his dev cost relatively low as well and was deving up. That's how he got on the money, and then he builds the buildings to increase the value of it. And by late game, you get so rich. And there's so much coal in Germany as well now.
Oh, there we go. Touchdown. NASA's Perseverance rover lands on Mars.
Oh, it didn't crash this time.
Didn't crash this time, no.
Amazing.
That's exciting.
It is, yeah. I've got to admit, I'm not massively impressed by SpaceX.
Really?
I mean, it's okay and all, but it's just with they get a huge amount of government subsidies, and then they manage to make a rocket not land. I'm like, it's progress, but it's not a huge leap. Maybe it will be.
The rockets that land themselves, though.
Yeah, but they don't land themselves. They do that. They land and then fall over.
Not always. I mean, they're small ones. They've been landing themselves. They've done hundreds of missions with satellites. And even if there's even if there's only a 5% chance of the thing, even if there's a 5% chance of the thing landing and then falling over and blowing itself up, that's a difference of billions in terms of launch costs. It's crazy. It means the price to launch a satellite with one of their rockets is like hundreds of thousands versus like 400, 500 million.
Yeah, I mean they've definitely reduced the price, and that's good and all. I'm not entirely convinced that they're doing anything, I suppose, special. The fact that nobody has done this before is unbelievable. The fact that there was just such a dearth of investment in space exploration, just everything, that's ridiculous.
But that's what happens when it's public, when it's run. You don't have we'll bore everyone to death if we start talking about economics. But when you don't have actual for-profit companies getting involved in making it a competitive marketplace, if it's entirely reliant on the government, you'll just end up with what's happened where the US were
at least
buying and using Soyuz rockets from the 80s for all their launches, all their satellite launches and things, and restocking the space station.
But we've got so much technology out of the space race. It's like it pays for itself.
Yeah, it was a lot of money though.
And there's usually a couple of times where SpaceX will do something, or especially Elon Musk will announce something, and I'll think, that doesn't sound like a great idea. And then in 6 weeks' time, they're like, oh, we've abandoned that idea. And everyone goes, okay, that's fine.
Oh yeah, I mean, Musk is a bit of a crazy
yeah,
fool.
they were what was that?
It's a painting that my sister painted me.
They
It says, if the world was made out of bananas, no one would be straight. Thanks.
wonderful. Yeah, they were. Elon Musk wanted to make one of his rockets out of carbon fiber, and I was
right.
like,
Isn't that flammable?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think that at least the body, some of the body was going to be carbon fiber, and I'm like, that's great and all. Don't you have to bake carbon fiber? So you're not only going to make a rocket, you're also going to make a rocket-sized oven for it.
Yeah, that's so funny.
And he's like,
Right.
well, we're looking into ways of making a rocket-sized oven, but at the moment we're making it in multiple parts. And then he puts it together, and it like just flops because it's been made in multiple parts and bolted together. And it's like, okay, well we've abandoned carbon fiber, we're using aluminium again. Like, yep,
Yeah,
okay.
I did. When I was 18, I did an internship with Airbus near Bristol at their advanced materials, high-tech research lab, which was really cool. And they were playing around with all these type of new materials. It was really fun, and like wacky concepts of planes. It's really fun.
I think Airbus.
But yeah,
Airbus does quite a good job with these kind of things. That's what I'm saying. I don't think SpaceX is necessarily doing anything more impressive.
I'm interested to see. You've got Jeffy Boy, old lizard man. Who's when he does something, he does it right. He's and he's got this Blue Origin thing, and he's just left Amazon to go focus on other things.
Yeah,
he's stepping down. The Blue Origin. You saw the bay doors open the other day. They're slowly ticking along. I just wonder whether they're gonna, put their head above the parapet. He just has infinite money. He hasn't needed the marketing. He hasn't needed all this buzz and over-promising. He's just kind of solidly plugging away.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Is Elon Musk and SpaceX and Tesla are all just marketing.
Yeah, I wonder whether finally, when Jeffy Boy launches his rockets, he's just going to blow.
By the way, if anyone's watching this, I understand if you skip this. There's nothing to do with it, but it's a rehearse. What are we going to do, man?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, as much as I like it, I'm also not necessarily buying into the hype. I've seen too many videos of Teslas being driven on British roads and not understanding the fact that the grass on the pavement does not mean it's another lane.
So, Tesla have made more in Bitcoin since they bought Bitcoin a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
Of course, I mean,
they've made more in profit off that Bitcoin than they ever have off of cars. The only reason for the last 2 or 3 quarters that they managed to make enough profit to get included in the S&P 500.
Isn't it a pump dump scheme?
So all of these profits that they've got was pre-recognizing revenue for selling tax credits on electric cars that they haven't made yet.
Yeah.
And this man's the richest man in the world.
It's bonkers. I don't understand how it's legal for Elon Musk to come out and buy stock in something or buy Bitcoin and then say Bitcoin is great and then just watch it go up and then presumably sell it later. It's like
he's been warned by the SEC recently.
Oh, he's been warned. He's been warned 70 times.
I know exactly. He set his Twitter bio to Bitcoin and then he said it's Dogecoin. It's like fuck. And then that whole 420 funding secured thing.
Oh, that was. There was evidence that there actually was funding secured, but it was from Mohammed bin Salman, the Saudi Arabian prince who cut up that journalist.
Yeah, I mean.
So, he actually dodged a bullet there.
Well, I don't think he would have minded. Actually, he probably would, because now he wouldn't be the richest man in the world. Miraculously.
Yeah. It's just so funny when he said funding secured at 420, and it's double that now. A year on from it, it's like.
No, they did a stock split as well. It's more. It's well over double that.
That can't be true. I think they haven't done the stock split yet, have they?
They did. It was like 6 months ago. They did the stock split because it went up to like $2,000, and then they split the stock into 5 parts. And I think
have I paused it? No, I haven't paused it. Mm.
And then I think it went back down to a few hundred, and now it's. It went back down to like 100 or 200, and now it's up at 700. So it's if split adjusted, that 420 is probably about 75.
That's
and it's now at 700.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, everyone was saying,
Absolutely
"Wow,
mad.
this car company's worth 25 billion. It's not
This,
worth that. It's not worth
this,
30 billion.
this car company is worth
700.
this car company is worth more than every other car company combined.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And their cars that they delivered is like 200,000 versus.
Well, they've also had to recall they had to recall like 10,000 cars because the touchscreen controls the brakes, and they've decided that the touchscreen isn't an integral part of the car, and therefore isn't covered by the warranty. So it'll break after like a couple of years.
Oh dear lord. Pause. Right, I think while we're doing this host, because I remember this takes bloody ages, I have some lovely trifle for pudding, so I'm going to go get myself a bowl of trifle.
Very well.
And a second beer.
I suppose I'll attempt to talk over what's actually happening rather than going with these weird conversations. Yeah, at this point, Arhak had left and is trying to rejoin to do a commentary with me, which obviously was all lost. So it was completely worthless. Yeah, Shimazu is very impressive given where he was before. I like to see comebacks like this. It's amazing how much you can come back in this game. We've had so many people come back from such tiny beginnings and become really powerful. I really genuinely think by the end of the game Shimazu will be one of the big powers, because there just isn't anyone to threaten him at the moment. And he's got great allies. He's in a great position with unbelievably good ideas. I don't know who's going to beat him. I would not be surprised if he got first or second. It's all going to depend on, honestly, whether or not Dewey is going to protect him. And I think Dewey probably would protect him. If nobody can invade him, then he's safe. They'll get so much score from owning all of America. If he can get 1 or 2 victory cards, maybe. I mean, if he gets one of them on Dewey, Dewey might even give it to him in return for something. And then who else is there really threatened? Well, Prussia obviously will be probably a big thing if Europe doesn't do something about him later. Russia may even turn on Prussia himself, but most likely they'll be going for a 1-2. And then Qing, who has gone to get trifle, he probably will be one of the big ones by the end, if he continues to be strong, if he doesn't make any mistakes, which he may well do. And then I suppose Japan is... Well, normally that Japan could be a contender, but I don't know if the play is really up to it. I haven't seen anything particularly special from him. Malwa's getting very strong as well. I wonder where Sindh, where his position is going to be after a while. Is he going to be killed? Is he going to be allowed to expand and form something new? Maybe even Mughals. We were talking about him maybe forming Mughals at this point, I think. Mughals for single player, especially at this point in the game, really wouldn't be anything particularly powerful for him. Not unless he could conquer many cultures and get the reforms that you can get from the Mughal Empire. Yeah, so what else is there to talk about? Noble 6 and Rassids has had a very, very easy game, but there are people now moving into Africa that he might end up in conflict with. He's been supporting his allies, AQ and Blep and Mushasha, I think mostly just to keep him off his back. And I'm not sure they'd necessarily come and save him if Japan came for him, maybe, or Spain. Well, Spain certainly they would, but yeah, whether he'd be completely protected from everybody or if he'd be abandoned eventually. Yeah, and Great Britain is trying to conquer Flanders at this point, I think. Cologne actually getting much bigger than before. We can see Great Britain's taken a little bit of the English Channel so far. We've been see this session has conquered more of France, so it's starting to get a more even balance in this area, but definitely Savoy's still in the best position.
Dear Lord, we're still in the lobby.
I know, it's terrible. I've just been talking to myself at this point. Talking about who do you think is going to win in France? What do you think is going to happen in Europe?
I think at this point Savoy is going to win in France, and I don't know, but who's Liege allied to?
Well, he's allied with Britain, I think.
I'd still back Savoy.
Yeah, but Britain is allied with Spain, and I think Spain is going to hate Savoy, so it might well be the two of them. But
okay. See, that would change things because Spain. When does this era end? Because he has the 33% shock bonus, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, but he's also not using his cannons properly.
Yeah, he should have a full stack of cannons because it's +1. But he's got 8.
Yeah, I think he's
8 or 9. I think.
I think he's a fairly new player as well. I'm not sure he knows quite how ridiculously overpowered that artillery modifier is. You know, early game having a full backline of cannons as Spain, I think I worked out is equivalent of like 40% discipline.
Yeah, if you're watching this, which I don't know why you would be, Mr. Spain, considering this is just lobby sim at the moment.
Yeah.
Get a full back row of cannons right now. And you will trash them. 33% shock damage, and it's just Spain is ridiculous in this era.
Yep. I can tell you, our next game most likely will be a custom nation game, and I wonder how many people are going to take that bonus because it's immense.
But it's expensive, though, isn't it?
I think it's actually not. I think it's 30 points. It's the equivalent of having 20% artillery combat ability.
What? That's so cheap. 30 points.
Well, the issue
20 morale, like 60.
I think 20 morale is also 30 base, but it's 60 if you take it straight up front.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, but it trails off late game.
Yeah.
Because it's a multiplier.
Yes.
So at this point in the game, I think the multiplier is 0.6. So adding 1.
It's a multiplier.
It is, yeah.
What do you mean?
So the casualties will be however much damage you do, and then it's times artillery fire.
Right.
So at the moment, whatever casualties you deal are times by 0.6, so they're reduced by 40%. When you take that modifier, when you take that +1 artillery fire, it increases that multiplier to 1.6. So instead of stealing 40% less casualties, you end up dealing 60% more than you normally would. So it's an increase of 100% kills from cannons.
And then you get that 33% age bonus.
Yeah. So yeah, because cannons have, I think, 3 pips to the infantry's 5. And they do half damage from the back row. It works out as about, I think, 40% discipline from having a full back row of cannons.
That's crazy. Sorry, everyone listening to me eating and clacking. I have to say, I normally shop at Waitrose almost all the time.
Of course you do. Of course you do. With a voice like that, with an accent like that, of course you shop at Waitrose.
No, I also recently moved to Kensington with a nice.
Oh my goodness.
COVID bonus on a rent reduction. I'm moving in with my girlfriend, so I pay less. Not less than her, just, you know. Anyway, not the point. That was an M&S trifle, and it's this M&S like best of whatever trifle, and you know how they're normally really big on top with the fruit and really small on the bottom of the fruit. It's got like vertical sides, and it weighs 900 grams, and it is amazing. It's so good.
I normally shop at Waitrose, but this time I'm shopping at Marks and Spencer's. Jesus Christ, man.
It's so good. Normally, I mean, M&S is a fucking rip-off, and it's terrible in comparison to Waitrose. You know, none of their meat is free range. None of their meat is actual free range. And it's M&S. You're supposed to be like a really posh supermarket, and none of it's free range.
There's like nowhere like none of the supermarkets, so they're all reducing their quality.
It's only Waitrose is free range, and I like animals, but I like eating them a lot, but I want them to have a nice life, and then I want to eat them.
Yeah, yeah.
So I actively try, and I avoid buying things that are not free range, other than, you know, when you can't control it, like getting dominant.
No, I've got no issue eating animals at all. If I had to, I'd go and kill the animal myself. I just don't want it. I don't want.
Yes, I have done.
I don't want chickens being thrown alive into a meat grinder. That sucks. That's a bit too much for me.
Yeah, I mean that is not nice, but having a life in misery indoors is probably worse than how you die. You know, I want to have a nice, happy life, prancing in the fields, be nice and stress free.
But also,
maintain that it makes them taste better.
Because I've been supporting my local shops recently.
Oh, yes.
And using the local butcher. And I've been buying bacon from the butcher, and it's about double the price of the supermarket. But
really,
yeah, when you cook it, it shrinks by half the amount.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
yeah,
that's where the values come from. It's like, it's
water.
objectively superior, and it's about the same price when you take out the water that boils.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you get in sort of. I just try not to buy meat from other. Shouldn't be too snobby, but you know, other supermarkets or not, or things that aren't butchers. I went to America, and so I did a 2-week course in Boston, and I went to the what's that American supermarket that they wrote about, Whole Foods.
Oh God!
And I bought it's like £15 for cheddar, and it's like crap.
Yeah.
And I bought some bacon, and I put it in the pan, and by the end it's boiling the bacon because there's so much water in it. And it's literally all the water comes out, and you're literally boiling the bacon. It's disgusting. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's so much water. And this is the nicest supermarket, and it was in Cambridge, Massachusetts, near Boston, like really nice district in the Whole Foods, and it's still shit.
you just can't get good food from supermarkets at this point. It's unbelievable.
No.
And speaking of good food, Karaman.
Yes. Is he,
he's piggy in the middle at the moment, I think.
He really is. He needs to. It's so hard there though, because there's no way you can escape to. If you're AQ,
yes,
you
but
can go into Africa. If you're what he should probably have done, he should have gone after Mamluks first because it gives him a way out. But he went after Ottomans first, and then
the other thing is, if I ever look at him, he doesn't have many forts in his land either. So every time there's a war, they just go straight for him and they just cut him up immediately.
Yeah, he needs, but he can't be rich, can he? Is he?
He's not exactly poor.
Right.
Well, he is poor by your standards, of course, but.
I don't know whether that was what they're referring to the game.
It's a double entendre. It's wonderful.
Double entendre. Goodness me. But I'm definitely not rich in real life.
There we go. Great Britain and Rugen have peaced out.
Peaced out. There we go. Bye bye Texas.
So we can see 130,000 losses for Texas in this war.
Wow. He fought a good fight.
He did. He might have fought it a bit too hard, if anything.
I just think he should have avoided that conflict rather than going straight for it. He should have gone somewhere where Shimazu wasn't. He should have gone into America, consolidated more.
I mean, I may hold some blame here because he was talking to me about this before, and I'm like, you do realise Shimazu's in Alaska, and he got so paranoid about it. It was the only thing he could focus on. Was get there before Shimazu.
Yeah, I guess that's the problem. He should, because he could have gone after that Mayan land first rather than going after Mexico. Just cleaned up in there.
Well,
Sweden's not a player, are they?
No, they aren't.
Occupying all of Norway.
Yeah. Can
you form Sweden? You think you can?
It might be reformable. I dare not go out of the thing to Google it because it'll mess up the audio. So you can Google if it's reformable.
I'll have a look, because that would have been an interesting one for someone like Livonia to do as an alternative. Because that's all free real estate. I'm surprised no one's gone up there. Look, Denmark, Norway, and Sweden have 1444 borders.
Yeah.
I don't know what they've been doing, honestly.
Well, nobody was either in a position to take it or really wanted it, to be honest.
I guess they're quite powerful when you've got AI.
Well, they're relatively powerful. Livonian Order obviously is focusing on Russia because that's what he needs.
Yeah.
Prussia, there's no reason not to just conquer Poland instead. Great Britain doesn't want to conquer Norway because you can't hold it.
Yeah.
There's nobody there to really go after it. I mean, spoilers, Russia will go after it relatively soon.
Right.
It won't stay independent for long. And we noticed this when the Timurid player left. The Timurids entered into coalition against Tibet.
Yeah. Oh, that annoyed me actually. I didn't want. I felt that was really unfortunate. Are they in the is Tibet at war yet with Timmy?
No, nothing's happened yet. Now I will say it is your responsibility to set your AA settings, and you can say do not start wars.
Yeah. So it doesn't look like they are formable, Sweden.
I see.
Like I'm on their wiki page and there's no form Sweden decision.
Yep, and we're looking over here at Livonian Order. Still not Tech 10. Still can't form Russia.
He doesn't even have all the provinces. He's got none of the provinces. And they're vassals. Oh goodness me.
I think you have to have Novgorod, and he's got Novgorod.
Okay, he's got one of the provinces. I should have just. Oh wow! Look at that. Gascony's popped out. That is a mess in France. France has what, 4 provinces?
Looks like, yeah.
Tibet is second. Wow, Tibet's second on the Great Power.
He's absolutely huge.
He did really. He's done really well.
Stunningly well. It was amazing.
You know, for Nepal.
Yeah.
Not Nepal, Gorkha.
Yeah.
It's a really hard start, even when you're versus AI. It's difficult. It is difficult because you're surrounded by quite large nations. You're not a. You know, you can end up with Tibet being a.
I've played as Gorkha once, I believe.
Yeah, I've done it on very hard, and that was really difficult. Like really hard. I think that was before it was Gorkha. I think that was when it was before.
I played it in MP once, and
really
fought a death war, nearly killed Delhi. In fact, I did kill Delhi, and he released and played as Punjab, and then killed me. Because it was like, you know, in a movie where like somebody's like crawling on the floor and the person comes up to finish them and they suddenly like stab them in the thigh. Like that was like my last breath to kill him, and then like it's like he just took. It's like he got stabbed in the thigh as the killing blow, and then just took his wooden leg off and started stamping on me with the other foot.
It's one of those things in a boss fight in a computer game, right? You know, when you kill them and they fall to their knees,
and like this isn't even my final form.
This isn't even my final form. Punjab comes back with the terminal. Absolutely with a cookery knife.
It got rid of his like, I think 34 corruption and bankruptcy.
Wow.
So like, okay, yeah, that's smart, and I'm dead. But two things we've learned in this moment: that's smart, and I'm dead.
So what's Blue doing? Has he been expanding with vassalization to minimize AE, or has he been conquering?
He's not very good at the game.
I remember he had a terrible start, didn't he?
Yeah. He constantly lost a bunch of wars. He's Orthodox as well in the HRE.
Didn't he go down to OPM? Oh yeah, Orthodox in the HRE. I mean, that's a good long-term thing, but
it is, yeah. He's just not. He hasn't really had coalition wars at all. He's just declared wars that he wasn't ready for.
Yeah.
And I think finally he started to expand a little bit more. Possibly with some advice from some people, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but there's just so much dead land in there, like, between Prussia and...
I know,
Prussia, Florence, Savoy.
Well, there was a Milan, and he died immediately.
That was so good. Oh, that was really entertaining. I mean, it was a good play from him when he joined that war against Rodolfo, but Rodolfo pulling that back was amazing. And then giving him a taste of his own medicine and allying Switzerland. That was so funny.
It's very good. But yeah, he was meant to be the one that would go into Bavaria, and then he just died, and nobody's moved in Bavaria at all. Everyone's decided, no, I don't want it.
It's really funny. I remember I was chatting to the Florence player, Rodolfo, before the game, and he was talking about who he should ally and what he should do, and we were strategizing about that. And I said, "Oh, have you talked to Milan and done Diplo with Milan?" He was like, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, I messaged him," and Milan was like, I can't remember the exact words, but it was basically Milan was like, "Who are you?"
No,
he was like, "Oh, I'm." What did he say?
Rodolfo went to him and he said, "Hi, I'm the Florence player in the EU4 MP," and Milan's reply was "and," and he went, "Have a nice day," and left.
Oh yeah, I remember that. He sent me a screenshot, and absolute classic, so good.
And didn't go so well for Milan. That you do Diplo in these games, or you die.
Yeah. I mean, I think he thought he had Savoy on side, but then I think he rubbed Savoy the wrong way with something he was demanding.
God knows. I don't know if he even talked to Savoy.
Got squished. I mean, he did nearly beat Florence early on with that. It was a clever move, but
it was. But
signed his own death warrant.
He also was just. And there we go. Qing and Tibet have declared war.
Oh yeah. Oh, this because the coalition fired on Tibet.
No, you declare war immediately on him.
No, the
Qing Tibetan war for Chinese hegemony. You did this. This is your fault.
On my fault. It's like 120k on the borders of Tibet. Not even up my force limit.
Yeah. And
Yeah, war for the Celestial Empire. Very nice.
I'm just looking because you were slightly below your mandate, which gives you a little tiny.
Yeah, I
gold
was
penalties.
I remember at this point I just said, okay, we gotta go.
Yep. So you're gonna stack wipe that 1k. Oh, what a dick.
I get rebels. Really annoying. Those damn rebels. They kept popping up in that area. That's on my gold.
Yeah, this is.
Oh, wait, what? Oh no, that's on my gold mine. Yeah, those rebels should be a pain. Deep
Yep. And now we can see Malwa
Malwa
declaring his own war. I think.
Okay.
Or is it,
Yeah.
it's a different war, isn't it? Yeah, he
It's
made
a
the
different
mistake of declaring a separate war, which is bold.
Yeah.
It's bold for this reason, which you'll see in just a moment here. We have a rule that if you unconditionally surrender, you have to peace out within 2 years, and you can't come back.
So
in
I think
for
it's a
5
great
years.
rule. No, I think it's a great rule.
I probably won't be including it in my game for various different reasons. There might be something. There will be something about unconditionally surrendering, but it won't be those exact rules for various different reasons.
It's the only time it's tricky is when the war leader just unconditionally surrenders to save all the allies.
Yeah, that's not acceptable to me.
Yeah, I see. That's
So
tricky. But when people just sit there with you on not piecing you out.
Yeah.
He's got 32k troops. He should because he's got a really good force in there, and pretty damn good ideas.
Well, he just wasn't expecting it, is all.
And no, he should have. Well, but I think he was though. I think he was because I remember before this because I won't give it away. I was talking to some people and they were saying that Tibet came and talked to them and basically begged them to ally him. And they said that to me, and they were just like, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
So at this point, it's how many wars is? So Timmy's now at war with Tibet.
Yeah. Now
and
Mushasha, Cologne have declared the war not on Tibet but on Persia.
Yeah, Mushasha's declared on.
But Timurids hasn't joined because he's AI at this point.
Yeah.
And Timurids has declared his own coalition war. That's why he hasn't joined Persia.
Yeah.
This is Timurid AI who's in a coalition against Tibet.
Just a mess. I felt bad for Tibet. I didn't want this coalition war. I was like, because it's an ally, because they were allies pretty much.
But I'm going to spoil it. But in order to piece out the coalition war, Timurids asked him to release a bunch of land. The player comes back and forces him to do so. And then immediately, yeah. I mean, you should see it unless you also did that with your war, but I don't think you did.
No, I didn't. It was the coalition war. Yeah, because he's in such a good position. Look, all that Bengal Delta, because his economy was so bad, and he had a really good force limit. But then he was just eating up the Bengal Delta.
Yeah, and it made him very, very rich.
It's scary. This is a Tibet with Nepali ideas, who's the Eastern theocracy, can get that Sohe government reform.
Yep.
It's scary. It's
quite
scary.
It's scary as it is, but the kind of player that can build this, the way that they can wield it is more scary.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to say his one mistake is probably being too scared of me.
Possibly.
And letting me persuade him when he was smaller to only take the Chengdu node, and then he went to take more of it, and he was in a war to take more of it, and I went in a chat and I said, "May I remind you made this promise?"
Yeah.
And he was at that point I was kind of big and scary.
Yeah.
I would probably have declared on him earlier if he'd have done that, because I don't like it when people break deals. But he could have just rushed all the way to Canton and taken all that good land. He
also broke his alliance with India, didn't he?
Yeah, because he was going to. This was in the last session, remember? Because he broke his alliance with them, and they were saying, because they were saying that they thought he had been a bit funny and been doing deals or something, and so they came to me and were like, "Hey, so we think he's going to go declare on us. Can you help us?" I was like, "Okay," and then Tibet came and said, "No, sorry, it was an accident. I promise."
No.
And we got the alliance back. He said, "No, sorry, it was because relations fell too low. Like, I promise. And he's like, "I just looked at relations and they're really high." Sindh was like, "Okay, I'll re-ally you," but he was messaging me, and he was like, "Bullshit." He said, "Absolutely not.
Don't make an excuse that's objectively proven with math."
No, no, exactly. I think it's literally because the second that he broke that alliance, Sindh and Malwa went into a voice chat with me.
Yeah.
Hey, oh,
And here we go. The Timurids are back.
this is Return of the Timmy.
Yep.
Okay, good. So we're about to see some of the Tibet's really, really good plays. Yeah, Timurids is like the Italy of World War, both.
Except if they built a competent state by themselves.
Just if Timurids had abandoned Persia, he would have been so strong at this point. All that nice Persian land, all those nice mountain forts.
Yeah, but he was kind of stuck in the middle, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Because I think Mushasha wants to form Persia. Why wouldn't he?
Why wouldn't he? Yeah, I think so. I mean, presuming if he can win this war, it's just a clear run, doesn't it?
And Sindh doesn't have anywhere to expand, so he's gonna.
No, and Sindh doesn't seem to want to expand north or west for some reason. He wants to just finish up the Lahore trade node, which is Pakistan and Afghanistan, and then go elsewhere.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, AQ's morale and discipline is pretty poor at this point, and same for Mushasha.
Oh yeah, Mushasha is terrible. Look at that.
Timurids still four morale.
That's nearly a one morale difference.
No morale.
George's armies are terrible.
And then Serbia, who is also in the war, his morale's not too bad.
Serbia's in the war. On which side?
Supporting AQ.
Wow, I had no idea this war got that big.
Oh no, sorry, attacking AQ, I think. Supporting Karaman.
Oh god, I had no idea this war got so big.
Oh, look at the thing. It tells you how many people are in wars at the moment.
That's crazy. God, I was just so focused on what I was doing.
Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different people all at war at the same time.
Wow, and it's all effectively the same war. There's 2 or 3 different wars, but it's all effectively the same war.
Yeah, and the wars stretch from the Balkans to Japan.
Yeah, not Japan yet.
And there we go. Tibet has unconditional
surrender. There we go. This is clever because it's just a 1v1 war. Me versus Tibet. I have too many troops. He knew he couldn't defend it. I was coming from behind. Sieging him down.
Now, presumably as well, he's made a deal with Timurids saying, "Okay, well, peace out for this, and then you'll come in and help me." So he thinks I can beat Malwa and Sindh. I can destroy them, and then, I actually don't care if I lose Tibet as long as if I can take over India, I can make peace with Qing.
Yeah.
But you make a decision here, which rather seals the fate of Tibet.
That's always going to happen.
That is what's going to happen.
I didn't want to. I could have sat on it for 2 years and let their troops sit black flagged and let them siege down Delhi. But I thought, if he's going to unconditional, I want to give him. I don't want to be a dick. I want to take it.
Well, the other thing is when you unconditionally surrender it, it actually gives you a bunch of bonuses. Number 1, you can't take any more debt. Number 2, you lose war exhaustion while you're unconditionally surrendered.
Yeah.
So there's if somebody is literally just sitting on you, you will be better off being unconditionally surrendered than piecing out with them.
Yeah.
That's true. Why I don't really care about the unconditional surrender.
What did I say? Yeah, it didn't take me long. Oh yeah, because everyone was like, Blep said you have 2 years, and I said, oh wow. I was like, yeah, it didn't take me long. I just wanted to piece out.
Now, what do the Timurids do here? They, I think, force them to release Multan. Or return a bunch of land to Multan even. Here we go, Tibet's army versus Malwa's.
I just don't know why Timmy did that though. I mean, we'll see what it is that he does.
I think he thought... Yeah, there we go. Look, bits in... Lim Wang's been released.
Why? Why? He knew he was going to turn around and ally him.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. We released Multan.
Yep.
He released Calm and Qi. That's just free real estate for me and Qing.
I couldn't tell you why.
And I saw that happen. I was like, why is he doing
Yeah,
that?
you even say nation ruining because you thought that it was Tibet doing it himself. No, it's Timurids doing it.
Yeah, it was like, what? Because I just couldn't understand. He released Sardinia Piedmont. That's just land I have cores on.
Yeah.
Like, that I don't have to fight a player for.
And then I'm frantically trying to type what's going on, and then I realise I can't type in the observer thing, which is so irritating. I can't believe they won't let you do it. Yeah, unless, well, Timurids declared the war, didn't he?
He did.
So it couldn't have been. It's very strange.
I want to know. Did Black Paws just to check that it wasn't nation ruining?
No, that's why Blood paused.
Because classic hack.
Yeah, all of which is worthless because the only reason he was in the game was to commentate with me, which is now lost to the sands of time.
Oh dear. Is he going to commentate with you next game?
I don't think so. No.
Oh.
He I think is going to be a roving sub.
I see. It's a good sub to have.
Yep. And there's been some talk about Spain possibly leaving the game. If so, I think Al-Haq wants to take over Spain.
Oh really? Why?
I think he's not enjoying it really that much at the moment.
Oh.
Which is a shame because he's doing so well. Right?
He's doing well. Maybe I'll send him a message.
Yeah. I've been trying to convince him to stay. Well, not necessarily convince him to stay, but as long as he's having fun, he should stay, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. He's he started as an Irish miner, and now you're Spain, and
He's done a very impressive game.
In 1546, that's really impressive.
I mean, yeah, it's like him, Tibet, and Shimazu were the three that I'm very impressed with.
Not me.
Well, you've done great, but you've also got unbelievably lucky. I mean,
I did practice a lot.
Yeah,
I did practice a lot. I made my own luck.
Yeah.
I had a strategy for every possible bit of RNG at the start.
You've played your luck perfectly, but
yeah,
it's like
no, Tibet. I was really impressed with. He just came out of nowhere. He just suddenly appeared. I was like, okay, there's Tibet. It's got like 10k troops. Then he suddenly had like 120k and actual income. I was like, fucking hell.
I'm devastated he won't be playing in the next game.
Will he not?
No, he said he wouldn't be able to, unfortunately. I presume he must be busy or starting something new. I suppose when the pandemic's ending, well, when lockdowns are lifting, a lot of people's schedules can change.
Yeah. Timmy is still so strong at this point.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you'll go back to it in a minute, but obviously Blep and AQ.
Well, as you can see, they've very much abandoned trying to siege down Timmy. They've just gone immediately for Karaman. Yeah. I'd want to see. Shimazu didn't actually manage to take that much land.
No,
it doesn't look like he did, at least. But what he's taking is the gold mines.
And all his vassals have he's just got huge.
And so 25 dev gold mines he took from that war. So Shimazu's well on his way.
This is just.
I've got to be honest. I think Shimazu's going to get second by the end of the game. I just don't.
The only thing is that he will probably get victory cards. If he gets victory cards on England, I think it's more likely than if he gets victory cards on Dewey.
I don't think it matters if he gets victory cards on Mar. I think he's going to have so much score that he can kind of just live off them.
Okay. Yeah. That's true.
Because I don't think anyone's going to be able to touch him.
No.
And the only place he can get victory cards, and the only place anyone can get victory cards on him, is in America.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, people shipping it over. If you can keep friends with Dewey, no, Dewey's not going to let anybody into America.
Yeah.
And
he might get one on Japan with his old core. No, because he sold that.
Yeah.
With no core.
And he doesn't border a valid rival.
No.
As long as Japan doesn't have any provinces within one sea tile of him, he can't get a victory card on Japan. You have to border it to get a victory card on it.
Right.
Which is why we try to put people relatively close together, because although there's a rule against, making an AI border, it can be difficult to tell whether or not somebody just doesn't want to take a land or if they're doing it deliberately to stop a victory card spawning. It's much better just to put people close together and force victory cards to spawn on them.
Like this Mesopotamian Thunderdome.
Yeah. Well, because they've all got victory cards on each other by 3 years' time, we're going to notice the victory card spawns are not kind to most players.
34% Crown Land, 34% Crown Land. I keep forgetting about Crown Land. I've played very few games with the new estate mechanics. I've got all my estates sorted out only in this session, and I keep forgetting to seize Crown Land.
And we can see Tibet is kind of winning this war now.
Smashing them. Malwa and Sindh were really worried at this point. Because I was in a chat with them and they were really worried. I was not in the war at this point. I couldn't join in with the Malwan war because they were the aggressor.
You also couldn't do it if they were the defender. If you've got a 5-year truce, we've decided that you can't. That's breaking the truce rules.
Oh, I need to remember that.
Yep. Because technically, when Florence allied allied Switzerland, technically that wasn't within the 5-year. That was within the 5-year period. He wasn't meant to do it, so he got in a little bit of trouble for that. But we established very much that he didn't know that he did it wrong, so it's a warning.
Fair enough. They're like me with the troops.
Yeah.
I'll remind him of that if he gives me shit over it.
Well, that I don't think that's even a warning for you. That's just the admins didn't agree on what the rules were, and then we've just decided what they were. So you can't get in trouble for that at all.
Yeah, fair enough. Have you sorted it out now?
Yeah, tributaries aren't going to be allowed.
That's fine. Don't really need them anyway. I can just make my land prosperous enough and defensible enough that no one can ever reach it. That's the goal anyway. It might not turn out to be true. I'm fully expecting to be ganked by probably most of Europe.
Well,
and
we'll see.
And maybe having one major ally betrayal.
Yeah, that always sucks.
But there we go. I'm expecting it. I'm being very good to my allies though. I'm helping them do what they want to do. So hopefully they'll remember that.
And you're also, when you piss off a player, you've killed them very much. No. Tibet's not going to come and take his revenge later because he's gone.
Well, he might do. The war's not done yet. I've got all the land off him that I need though. From that, pretty much set my borders. Why are the Georgian troops so bad? Don't they have quite good ideas?
It's not amazing, and also I don't think the Georgians really focused on military.
I just think you have to focus on military early on.
To some extent, yeah. I mean, the Georgian army isn't exactly terrible by the standards of many people in this area.
Yeah. Especially in the region he's in.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's done well to do all that conquering in the north. And did his depot well enough that he's not actually lost any land.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say George is probably stronger than Mushasha is.
Oh yeah, but Mushasha has been, it's a tricky start. He's pretty pended.
Yeah, and Mushasha did a very good job as well.
Yeah, he had.
But the Mushasha player is very, very good at diplo usually.
He is. Yeah.
The final conquest of Ming.
The final reconquest of Ming, yeah.
It was so funny.
They might turn up again later. They've still got a bunch of cores.
Yeah. It's so funny to me, just like destroying Tibet in this way, and then Ming gets reasonable like, oh, more food, nom.
I know. And Malwa and Sindh were like, please join, just declare on Timmies, no CB, humiliate war Timmies. And I was like, I'm not declaring a separate war when I'm the only participant.
Yeah. It's smart. You shouldn't have done this. Yeah. You could well have joined my war earlier. You didn't. Screw you. I'm not making your mistake again.
Well, yeah, I did try and say to them, maybe we should just, we can kill him all and what. They said, no, we can take all his land. Okay. Well, actually, to be honest, the original intention, the original plan, was that I would declare on Tibet, because Tibet was allied to Timurids. And the thinking was, if I declared on Tibet and no one else joined, then maybe Timurids would actually just leave Tibet alone. And then I could basically 1v1 Tibet without Timmies getting involved. And then once I had done that, then they could go in on Tibet separately.
But then they decided.
The Tibet AI coalition thing kind of messed things up. And then, yeah,
well,
so I couldn't do.
The Indians have every player war they've done has gone rather badly for them.
Malwa's so strong though.
They keep joining wars thinking, aha, we'll come in and backstab, and then the person just turns around and goes, no. Oh wait, they're actually fighting us. Please help. Please help.
Please help. But Malwa is really strong. He's got a lot of troops, a lot of money. Basically, he's going to have all of India. Yeah. Next session, he'll form Hindustan.
Yeah.
Who have immense ideas, don't they? I believe.
They're not. I wouldn't call them immense necessarily, but they're very good. Yeah. And Tibet has a integration of the Sohar modifier as well.
Yeah, he does. This is a really hard fought. He was pushing them back, really pushing them back, because you had. So this was funny at this point, right? So you can see. I don't know if you can see actually, but I'm building a couple of forts in. I think Girong and Nedong, or Shigatse, and the one next to Girong, to basically fence off the entirety of the Himalayas, so that the Timmies players was trapped. I had given Malwa military access so he could go and siege the Tibetan capital. But then I said, no, get your troops back. I'll cancel mail access and they will be trapped in India. Timmy's troops won't be able to get back to their own land at all. Like, this is Japan's little excursion that we're just witnessing.
Yeah, so like, for what reason? I mean, he's allied with
Qing. You just checking that they weren't at war with me just then?
No. I was checking to make sure they were still allied with you. I'm like, what?
I got a bit cross. Because we were allied friendly, and then they went and joined a war against my enemies. No, sorry, a war against my friends.
Yeah.
Without asking me.
Which is such a strange move. It's like you. What do you hope to gain here? What could you possibly gain here?
So he explained it to me afterwards that he was trying to maintain the balance in Asia. I was like, okay, I can kind of see that, but. I think he was also 2 techs behind at this point. He's caught up again now. But it's sort of a half-assed excursion that was kind of, Malwa and Sindh were.
And I was at this point. I was like, is he going to declare war on Tibet? Maybe he's going to just steal the Bengal Delta. Maybe that's his amazing, bold plan. Is he's going to take over India?
What do you mean the Hindustan ideas are okay? Plus 20% manpower, 10% governing capacity, 15% infantry combat ability, minus 10% advisor cost, separatism, legitimacy, plus 10% fire damage, missionary strength, dev cost, and discipline.
Yeah, I think that they'd probably be outside the top 10 national ideas for me though.
Pretty damn good though.
They're good, yeah. It's definitely worth forming, and they're a strong tag, but I wouldn't call them immense, as you said.
Yeah, probably not. Maybe not. They're not like one that you see and you're like absolutely terrified just by the fact that they exist somewhere else across the world, like Prussia.
Yeah, I wouldn't migrate to Hindustan as Great Britain, for example.
No, yes, very true.
Like, oh, is he planning on forming Hindustan? No, of course he's not.
Yeah, I guess that yeah. The only thing is, so he's still Sunni at this point. Well, he still is now.
Of course, yeah, because to form Hindustan, to form Hindustan you have to be Sunni, yeah.
But it's just what religion should he go? Because it's Sunni. I think he should go. He needs to go
Well,
something else.
the Muslim religions are actually fairly powerful.
They are because of the bonuses, but I think he needs to go Shia.
It's a lot of effort to do it. I'm not sure it's worth it. The difference between Shia and Sunni is so minor.
But he has no one competing against him in the region, and he gets 2% missionary strength from his ideas as Hindustan.
Right, but for such a big nation, you're going to lose such a huge amount of money doing it. Simply,
not necessarily.
Well, simply because the intolerance means you're going to get tax reductions and stuff. Like province being the wrong religion actually has a huge impact.
Okay.
I mean, it's way more than most people think it is.
Maybe that's why my income's not so high.
Yeah, and then Florence is invading Serbia at this point.
But because it's a heretical, it's from the same religion group.
Yeah.
You only need 50% of your country to have that religion, and then you can accept demands. You don't have to let them break you.
But all the Indian stuff is based around heathens, not heretics. Because they think it's going to be Hindus and Muslims. It doesn't account for the fact that you might want to be a different religious sect.
Okay.
So you actually end up... It's very frequent when you're playing in India that the tolerance of heathens is much higher than of heretics.
Right. So as Qing currently, I think my tolerance of heathens I've got to 0.
Yeah.
Which is, okay.
But at 0 you don't get any religious unity penalties either.
No, I do. You do. It's just less. One you get no religious unity.
Is it 1? I always thought it was 0.
No, it's reduced to 0. It's much reduced, but 1 you have to.
Okay.
1 is when you get none.
I didn't know that.
So I'm still steadily converting.
Yeah.
Everything to Shinto. I have an idea that requires me to have 100% religious unity.
Now, yeah, we can see
mission.
They're just invading Karaman, and look, he hasn't got any forts. There's not even a capital fort on Karaman.
There's so much good. Fort territory there. Hills, mountains.
And Karaman's coming in. He hasn't even got full morale. He's recruiting more mercs. It's like
Karaman.
He's taken all the debt that he can.
Come on, Karaman.
Morale isn't good enough.
No leader, no general.
This is huge as well. I remember talking about this. The difference between the leader and no leader is absolutely massive.
Huge. Did the leader die, or did he charge in with just no leader?
I think it's because he recruited a bunch of mercs and none of them came with a leader.
You can't put a leader on them, can you?
No, they have to come with a leader.
He's still the quality of his troops is less as well. He's just going so much more. He just thought they would win with the quantity, but he just build forts. There's so much defensiveness there.
Because I think I was talking like the difference in the leaders is equivalent of fighting a -3 battle.
Yeah. And then you have -1 as well.
Yeah, well, yeah. But you've always got to think about the way that the math works like that, because you'll end up with battles and you'll be surprised, like, why did I lose that? And then you really think about the way that the math works in it, and you realise, okay, well, I wouldn't have taken that battle if it was a -3. Of course, without a leader, I won't win.
No. Right, I want to see Tibet. Let's go back to Tibet. I want to see them.
I wanted to see whether or not this army would get stack wiped.
Because they got the ships. So.
But Karaman also, I think, is fairly close to being force beast out. And once again, like Wallachia just sitting here and watching.
Yeah. Well, it's in his advantage.
-200 ducats a month.
Wow.
9 income, solid.
He wants Karaman to die, doesn't he? Because he just wants to. He doesn't want to have to betray him. He just wants to let him die and then go clean up some of the pieces.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, well, I mean, you'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But
Karagrad, is that renamed?
Yeah. Well, he didn't rename it himself. That's what Serbian Constantinople's called.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess.
It's the city. I think it's the city of kings or something like that in Serbian.
Makes sense. It's probably Taragrad.
Yeah,
it's Slavian, like Slav. Slavic language, Serbian.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just getting absolutely hammered. I mean, that's a -3 as well.
Yeah.
Should have gone the
And
long way around.
the army wasn't consolidated either.
Oh, he should have gone the long way around.
And there we go.
Yeah, and then he unconditional
Unconditional surrender. I mean, to some extent it's the smart move, but when you've taken all the debt already, it's like...
I don't know why. Why was he trying to save Persia?
Well, because Karaman... I mean, Karaman knew that if he didn't, then AQ was going to come for him later. And...
Yeah, but if you want to chain yourself to a... You know...
Yeah, it's just a series of very bad decisions, and now you can see them swapping all the occupations over to the Ottomans.
Yes. Oh, gosh.
It's
looked at how this turns out, but I can't.
it's an Ottoman vassal that he gave them. He gave them military access to get that Ottoman vassal off of Wallachia.
Look at some of these battles. That is smashing them.
And if you look at this, Malwa has no cannons.
Yeah, does he?
Yeah, I think 12,000 to Tibet's 32,000. Yep, and Japan has joined us for some reason. Doing what exactly?
He's in the south sieging Narissa. I think he fought like one battle and then he like peaced out.
Yeah.
I at this point I did also go to I went to Majapahit and I said, you know, you're not going to join this, are you? I got him to promise me not to join, and I was like, thank you, because I thought when Japan go in, because they're very close allies. They're both my allies.
This was really smart from Malwa, because it's actually sorry, the flags are actually kind of similar.
Yeah, they are. It's really annoying. It's just more stripes or less stripes, fewer stripes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was really smart because Timmy's can't get there. And if you know Timmy's can't get there because of the forts of Sindh and because I've in Qing I'm no longer giving military access to anyone in this war, so they are trapped in India. So it's just free real estate.
Oh, and Serbia at this point has declared war on Wallachia.
Why?
Because he could win it.
But he's getting killed by Rodolfo.
So?
Oh, is he just giving up on the French war?
Yeah, I mean, Rodolfo's got 100,000 men. He's got 30,000. May as well invade Wallachia. I mean, Rodolfo's not. I don't think Rodolfo's here to kill him. You know, just give him what he wants and then say, okay, well, I'm going to invade Wallachia. Wallachia's busy with other things, and nobody's coming to save Wallachia. There's never going to be a better chance to do it than now.
That's a smart move, actually.
It is a smart move. It's a fucking brilliant move. And Liege actually conquering Flanders at the moment. Yeah, so we can see him moving in. And Wallachia's only got 30,000 men.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm interested to see what the outcome of that one is.
Yeah, we were too. And yeah, we can see now the Ottoman vassal's taken the entire coastline, so now Wallachia can't take any of it.
See, that's a smart move.
Yeah,
it's just a big mine,
and it's entirely predictable as well. You know,
and as well, it was actually a really smart move as well. The first province that the Ottomans took off them was the crossing, the other crossing, not Constantinople crossing. Because then, if for Wallachia to invade Karaman, he would have had to go get access from Serbia.
Yeah.
Which Serbia might not have wanted, because Serbia might have been eyeing them up as well.
Yeah, the whole Balkan region just really big brain moves here. They've all killed each other and fed each other to everyone else without fighting each other really at all. They've just murdered each other.
Yeah. That's why it's important to be good to your allies and stick by them often, because you know if you're going to have a bad ally, you may as well just not be an ally and kill them. Because the Serbian ideas are pretty good, aren't they?
I don't think they're great. I'd say they were decidedly out.
Really, I might be wrong. I've never played that region.
Oh yeah, Wallachia's building more troops now.
Yeah. Is that 60k he's got?
No, he's got 40k and he's building a few more.
Oh, 40, yeah, it's just a bit blurry on my end.
I think it might be in the actual video as well, unfortunately.
Well, it's because it's
It's only 720p recording because it's the most my wonderful Norfolk internet can handle. A solid 4 megabytes upload.
Oh jeez.
Yeah. Now Serbia surrendered to Florence because he's in this war, but Serbia's army's in Wallachia, except 10k aren't. So only 10k got black flagged. So he thinks I can win this battle, black flagged. Unfortunately, at this point, things don't go so well. And you can see Serbia's army's actually, well, it was winning for a little bit. It's actually technologically worse.
It's just standing there. That's
Yep.
so funny.
Because it got black flagged and he made the surrender before it had reached there, and I don't think he realised.
More Balkan big brain moves.
But Serbia would have won that with that 10k. Serbia absolutely would have won that battle and would have won this war.
Yeah.
He just made a horrible mistake.
And can Wallachia just march through?
The moment that Serbia gets back into his land, as you can see, they go black flag.
Oh, black flag. Okay.
There's multiple exploits with being surrendered and black flagged and that kind of thing, which we will be looking at, because you can't take any debt while you're black flagged, but your army can. You can't take any debt while you're surrendered, but your army can not be black flagged, so you can effectively have an infinite size free army when you're surrendered. So we do know about this exploit if anyone tries it, and I will notice.
That's a bit big. Yeah, that's too much for me.
So if you've unconditionally surrendered, we do expect your armies to be black flagged. If they're not, we might look into it and we might force you to return home.
Oh, is Persia just
Persia has unconditionally surrendered, I think, but also joined this war. Again, exploiting the black flag money stuff.
Yeah, well, not necessarily.
Well, not necessarily, but his army isn't black flag, so even though he's surrendered, he can still fight this battle.
That would be a bit of an unfair one to get away though, because it would make that whole strategy of unconditionally surrendering to one person to fight another a lot harder, because you'd have up to 2 years before you could turn on them.
Yeah.
You know, because if Mushasha just sat here on it, then you got black flagged.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm going to be reforming it when I do my game.
So I'm not at war. Yeah, I'm just
not yet. No.
So at this point, everyone was begging me to get involved.
But you can't yet because it's not been 5 years.
No, I can't because it's not been 5 years. Which I was going to join the war against Timmy's though, which I could have done because I was never at war with Timmy.
That's true.
But
you could have declared a separate war against Timmy.
Yeah, I could have declared a separate war against Timmy, exactly. But Blep was waiting on the war with Persia to finish before they attacked Timmy, because I didn't want to declare alone because I've been playing this game very sensibly.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they were begging me to join.
These are all the victory cards.
Yeah. I was just cleaning up some AI. Yeah, they've all got it on each other, don't they?
Yep.
AQ.
Blep got his 2000 on Persia.
Who else have we got? Rassids.
What
is that?
One very lucky one on Ethiopia. I think that was his 1000.
Wow, look at that from Florence. Both on Savoy.
Yep, and Savoy same back. Yep.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they have I think they have an agreement because Savoy's. I think Florence from the beginning. I think he's helping Savoy form France.
Yeah, and then Britain got his on. Britain got his on Ireland, which he's been given.
And Spain now.
Well, he got them in Ireland.
Yes, in Ireland. No, yes. Prussia's on Livonia. There we go. Oh, and that weird Prussian one on Austria because of the subject.
Yep.
That was funny.
Very strange, very lucky.
You haven't looked at mine yet, or have you? Oh, this is where, because I think at this point my one was on Hainan.
Yeah, your one was on Tibet.
No, it's not.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure it was. It was.
Yeah. No, my first one's on Korea, and my second one is Hainan State, which Japan owns.
Oh, of course, yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I was looking at someone.
Tibet's one was on Tibet.
Aha.
Tibet's second one.
I just saw
on
one
Tibet.
Yeah, and then Liege is Cologne got his on 3 different nations.
Wow.
Yeah, so he got 2 different victory cards. No, sorry, one of his victory cards was on 4 different players.
So Shimazu is still only 175 deaths, so
not big enough.
No card there. Yeah, look, you can see mine
yeah.
on Hainan there.
And then for Majapahit, where was the second one? I can't remember. Oh,
The
Japan. His one's on.
It's on Taiwan, yeah, but they're good friends in Majapahit. I think he's just trying to have a good game and stay alive, and I don't think he cares about score.
Sure.
Which is fair enough. He's doing very well.
He is. It's very impressive.
He's doing very well. I told him to take naval. He wasn't considering it, and I said, no, absolutely you are. For the country you're playing, take naval because you will smash anyone. And I said, I'll be friendly with you, and I can smash anyone on land.
Yeah. I think it's not actually long until Blep enters my chat, tells me that the audio's muted. Might be about 10-20 minutes, I think. So we miss all of the really interesting stuff. But honestly, I think this commentary's been better than it was before, honestly. It's a vast improvement. And there we go, Prussia is invading both Austria, and then Livonian Order is also going to Sweden.
So is he going after his victory card?
I think Prussia's taking it on Austria. But Livonian Order, he's got a little tiny vassal Finland.
Soon to not be so tiny and little.
Yes. Soon to be rather massive. And he's caught up on tech. He can, I think, form Russia at this point, but only if he
gets the peace. He doesn't get only if it's a peace, yeah. See, this is the trouble. It's hard to have a big enough income as Russia in a multiplayer game like this.
Well, if you can get Poland later on, the coal makes it worthwhile. The coal is what really does it for. Yeah, and then Nation of Timurids, your faithful allies requesting you come to their aid in the AQ's gone in for Timurids.
Yeah, AQ's gone in for Timmy. So we're going on a warm up now.
Yeah, just zooming out very quickly to look at it. Yeah, the AQ hug box is coming on Timmy now. With
that Timmy was looking really intimidating.
Intimidating. Yeah.
Intimidating he was.
Yeah.
Look, edging towards through Chagatai. I saw that. I was like,
yeah, that was scary.
Allying Tibet. I was like, not sure I like this. Not sure I like this. With a lot of powerful allies, and it's Timurids, and they're really strong. Their armies. They were slapping the Indians about.
It's all missions. It's all ridiculous bonuses you get from missions that made them this strong.
And they did pop them all at once.
Yeah.
Which is a good and bad idea. But at this point in time, they can't escape. They're trapped in India because of Qing forts and Sindh forts. So you've just got Mushasha and AQ. I don't even know whether they fight an entire battle in this war. I'm just cleaning everything else up. I've got cores. I've got forts built on.
It's been absolutely clinical from you, to be honest. It's not been a single wrong move made, as far as I can see.
Not yet. You can count on me though.
Yeah.
I won't let you down.
There's a lot of player kills this session.
Yeah, it's good. It was a good session.
It was a lot of fun.
A lot of good wars, good fun wars.
Yeah.
Chuan.
Ooh. This is where we were looking to make sure that you joined within the 5 years. And because we couldn't tell which ones you conquered from Tibet and which ones you conquered from the land that was released from Tibet, it took us ages to work out whether or not you were legal.
But then the war was on Timmy's anyways.
Was it?
Was always. Yeah,
I don't think we even noticed that. Yeah,
because I couldn't have joined if the war was directly on Tibet, because I would have had a truce.
For whatever reason we'd assume your truce broken.
No, I was allied to Blep.
Yeah, we did.
Allied. I'm in the Mushashan war on Timmy's.
Yep.
Because if you see, yeah. So it would have been, even if it was within the 5 years.
And then we saw this loan offer from no guy. You got.
Yeah, obviously I took that.
With your 139 ducats income, would you like to take a 10 ducat loan at 4% interest?
Yes, please.
and I will not be paying that back. See, look, I'm only at half force limit.
Yeah, there you go. 15 ducats, 4% yearly interest. No, thank you.
I think I probably said yes, please, just won't give it back. Yeah, I was only at half force limit here. I just didn't need it.
Yeah.
I do need to start. You know, it's good now. I do need to start doing more culture conversions.
Yeah, we kept checking up on that, see whether or not you're culture converting, and you aren't.
I was focusing more on deving, and now I have and.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to know whether or not it's worth it until after you've taken like religious and you've got the bonuses from the age and
the late game bonus, yeah.
Yeah, because it goes down from. Yeah, it goes down from like 200 for a province to 20 or something stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, so 2 reforms is pretty good. I got the +1 meritocracy is huge.
That
plus 0.5 is.
Well, because you actually are running relatively low level advisors, aren't you?
At this point in time.
Yeah. And
I was taking all of the plus mandate decisions, so my meritocracy was basically on 0.
Yeah.
By the end of this session, I recovered it to.
But I don't understand why you're not taking higher level advisors.
I have them now. I just couldn't afford them at that point in time.
Yeah, with 132 ducats income.
Yeah, okay, by this point I could, but when I started the session I had 70 ducats of income.
Each advisor level that you get, I think, is 0.25 meritocracy a year.
It is, yes, it is.
So constant level 5 advisors, you can run the policy with no meritocracy issues at all.
Yeah, I'm basically going to do that now, and that'll mean that I can keep taking all the plus mandate events without losing meritocracy because it'll just recharge fast enough, and I can take the actual meritocracy decisions for those sweet bonuses. Because I get +1 meritocracy per year from the from Qing ideas. I think I also get. Oh, I also got, which is what I used to get me charged up. I had to get my average autonomy below 35%, and then I got +1 meritocracy for 20 years or something, which is good.
Right, yeah, from the event. From there.
So I was having like +2 point something. You know.
Yeah, looking at the things you can take dev cost. Like
there we go, +2.1 because I took that mission. Also trading in silk.
And you got aggressive expander, technology guy, 355. It's like, come on, man, how lucky can you be?
I know. So good. And my I can't remember what my new heir is because that emperor.
I just noticed the Black Flag Japanese army, which had apparently lost a battle. I was like, no, I'm done, I'm out.
Yeah, he did. He's like 2 techs behind us. Puzzling decision.
The Fort Defense Decree as well.
Yeah, the Fort Defense Decree. So good.
What did you say you think you can get your fort defense up to? 100 and something?
I think it's like, I can't remember, I'll search for it in my things. It's a lot. I can get the siege ticks up to 82 base. with the advisor, or 72 without the advisor.
That's just crazy. I mean, yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
I think it would legitimately take a century to siege a level 8 fort with just infantry at that point.
Okay, so I can get it up to, without terrain bonuses to defensiveness, or the advisor bonuses to defensiveness, I can get +3 attrition and 128 plus 128 defensiveness.
It's going to be crazy.
If I built ramparts and have a religious idea policy, and if I start building that in Siberia, with Siberian winters, or Malay, or the jungles of Southeast Asia, the extra attrition, plus the extra defensiveness, plus those provinces have really low force limits. That's just monstrous. Plus I've got quantity ideas, so the garrisons are going to be huge, so you need quite large forces to siege it.
I can see you losing a battle here, I think.
No, I beat Tibet.
Oh, you beat it with your sheer numbers.
You can see there's I do lose a battle, I think, in a minute.
Yeah, so let's check and see whether or not you've done any Manchurian. It's only the stuff that you did like right at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. just income constantly rising.
Yeah. Still don't think I paid off all my burger loans.
Well, why would you?
Too late. Yeah, I've got like.
There's effectively no reason to have them.
So what do you think about what's the trade thing?
Mercantilism?
Mercantilism, yes.
It's kind of a bit pointless, but can be useful for some nations.
Because you can basically get up to 100 mercantilism pretty easily by giving and taking away. You just have to put up with pissed off burgers, but there's a +3 mercantilism.
Yeah.
That you can give and then take away.
The issue with it, to be honest, is it's good for trading nations, but a lot of trading nations also have colonial subjects, and mercantilism really pisses off colonial subjects.
True.
So it kind of is a bit moot.
The other way you can get it, if it didn't work for me because I was a hoard for most of it, but you can get the when you sell, you get the exclusive trading rights to a trade good.
Sure, yeah.
So you do it on your worst ones, and you get eight years of the income from that trade good up front, but you sacrifice 2 years, and it lasts 10 years. Every 10 years you can get +1 mercantilism, and you do that for you have one of those per. So you have one of those for each estate. So you're getting +3 every 10 years, and you can get, you can basically end up with that, and the other one you can end up with 100% mercantilism by 1580 or something.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants an easy achievement run.
Rodolfo in Florence was actually having a big trouble with that because he gave his estates a bunch of different privileges and stuff, including a lot of those. I think he gave them a monopoly on silk or on cloth, which obviously for Italy was a huge one.
That's a bad idea. That's the expensive one.
Yeah, but he's given them so many privileges now that he can't get his loyalty. He can't get the loyalty above their influence, so he can never revoke it.
Oh god, that's so.
So he's having to wait for like an event to give him loyalty before he's able to revoke
check mine on that. So the absolutism, because I've got all of mine on. I think one of the troubles is the monopolies give so much influence.
Yeah.
But I mean, Rodolfo does have like 85% crown land, and I think if you increase crown land, it reduces influence.
It does, yeah. So that's how he can get out of it. But he was complaining to me that the game is bugged and he's not allowed to remove any of his state privileges, and then I explained to him how it works.
Big battle. This was a really clever move because the Timmies had turned around, sent me packing. I couldn't get there because of that fort in Jaunpur, so I could get really close, but I would have to go the long way around to beat battle.
Right, and then they're going. Yeah, they nearly got that.
They nearly caught that other stack. Yeah. So they played this war really well.
Yeah.
Really well. Yeah, I need to get those 100% bonuses, 100% crown land. I need to start getting that because when's the Age of Absolutism? 1600? Is it 1650?
I think it can spawn at various different points based on it doesn't just spawn on a date. It's, I think.
Right.
What spawns it? Is it global trade? Might be global trade.
Yeah, I think so. It's after global trade. Global trade is around 1600, isn't it?
I think it is 1600. But it can only spawn it can only spawn a certain modifier if certain conditions are met.
And then you have 100 months till the end of the age, don't you, normally?
I think it's 120, is it? Maybe.
Oh yeah, 10 years or something.
Yeah, they're now getting invaded and destroyed.
Yeah, they just can't.
And Blep has carved himself a corridor into Timurids as well.
Yeah.
Serbia's fully occupied.
Oh wow.
And AQ gets Constantinople.
Oh wow. Is AQ going for rum?
I would imagine so. This is going to be a quite epic run if he does.
Oh, that's going to be big. With all of North Africa.
Yep.
Oh my god. And the Egyptian trade node. the amount you can feed into Constantinople.
Yeah, his trade is completely ruined at the moment.
Yeah, I mean it'd be terrible, but once he gets Constantinople and that whole node.
Yeah, no, but Florence is completely ruining his trade. Like I think his income's only 60 at the moment. At the end of the session.
Well, in Rodolfo.
Yeah, and Rodolfo doesn't even have any ships in the Egyptian trade node. It's because he
trade ideas early.
Well, and Egypt, because Egypt isn't going to Constantinople, so AQ's having to collect in that node. So Rodolfo has, I think, 70% of the trade power, despite not having a single province or a single ship there.
Because he's got so many buildings, and I presume he's upgraded all of his centres of trade.
Well, yeah, and
so just the sheer pull from the Italian peninsula is huge.
Well, not just the Italian peninsula as well. It's Tunis. He's got so many ships in Tunis, and the ship trade power propagation is going back upstream and taking all the trade out of there.
Right.
So I think AQ's making about 5 ducats off of Egypt. It's probably costing him more to occupy Egypt right now than it's making for him.
But it does give you good manpower.
It does, yeah. So he's in a very weird position at the moment where, yeah, when he forms Rome, he'll be much more powerful, but for the moment he's in a very strange position. And there we go, Tibet's nearly bankrupt. There's very much a countdown timer in that treasury.
Yeah. It's a really good effort. I really loved what he was doing with his country. It was going to be scary if it was going to be huge. If he was going to clean up that Bengal Delta and get a proper, really good income as Tibet, that was with that Sohe and Nepali ideas as Tibet. That's scary. Scary.
Oh, I got hiccups. My goodness. We didn't really look much at Rugen yet, I think. I think this might be later on in the session, but he goes through multiple different government types.
He's a crazy bastard.
Yeah, he according to him, he became a peasant republic by mistake, and then also a peasant dictatorship by mistake.
Absolutely wonderful.
I didn't know that you could become a peasant republic.
I think in the new patch they made it. It depends on the decisions within the
peasant war within the HRE.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know this existed, and I suppose neither did Dewey until it happened.
Yeah.
So by the end of the session, we'll see there's 4 different black tags in the Caribbean, which is Dewey, Rugen, Rugen's colony, Dewey, and Tortuga. So how many pirate republics can you have in the Caribbean? It's insane.
That's bonkers.
Yeah, your meritocracy finally going up, but only because of the event you said.
Yeah, I took that event, but I kind of knew I wanted to rush through a couple of reforms, so I kind of knew it was going to tank.
Yeah,
my religious
now I don't know what the Mongol banner mercenaries do. I have no idea.
I don't know if they're any good. I looked. My mercenaries are not very good, other than being big. They're like, okay, I get loads of them.
Are they?
See, that's so nice.
That's incredible.
Look at that. It's amazing, but I need absolutism 50. But it's amazing. Look at that. 50% institution.
No, they're mental. They're mental. Tolerance to true faith. That would be huge as well.
Yeah.
And that would be huge because it means you're not going to get rebels.
Yeah. And
then just a bunch of more military power and stuff. Not
because I get -2 unrest anyway in the Qing ideas.
Yeah, now we can see you've
and then I get negative unrest for having a high mandate, so that's like -4 unrest.
Yeah.
And insane tolerance to the true faith because I'm going to take religious ideas as well. So I'm going to have like +10 tolerance to true faith.
Yeah. And there we go. Finland's huge now.
Yeah. Wow. Finland's gone. Wow. Livonian Order's income went up by like 10.
Yeah.
Which is a lot. 25%.
Yeah. And he's still not tech 10. Yep, he's still tech 9 and nowhere close.
Jeez, he's so far behind me. He's getting so much corruption.
Look, he's tech 13 mil.
Must be getting so much corruption.
I think it's 0.20 a month and he's paying it off.
Because that was what was killing me in Qing for ages until this session. Was why I kept my army so small and hadn't built that much buildings and didn't have that many advisors.
The corruption is a function of your non-autonomy modified dev.
Yes, and I had a lot. I had a lot, but it was really devastated.
Yeah.
And it was really devastated, not that well organized. I was really far behind in, what was that? I was really far behind in.
Well, that's the funny thing, isn't it? At I think 40% autonomy, debasing currency, it costs less to pay it off than you get from debasing. If you're above 40% autonomy, you can make a profit on debasing your currency.
That's you really know all these little stupid min-max abusive.
For one moment, I was like, maybe that's why Persia's at 100% autonomy. Maybe he's a money farm. No, he's just bad at the game.
Just bad.
Yeah, I keep giving people the benefit of the doubt, like, oh, maybe they're using this weird, obscure mechanic. No, they're just dead.
No, just bad. That was honestly one of the funniest things I've ever seen. OPM Persia.
Like 2 ducats a month. It was ridiculous.
So funny.
I'm just like, the most improved award goes for Persia for removing some of the estate privileges. You know, from like 2 ducats to like 26 or something.
See this at this point. Look how deep in.
Yeah.
Oh, this is where it really turns. Actually, this is where if you go back on Tibet, which obviously you can't because you're not live.
Yeah.
This is where it really turns. I was also at this point being like, why can't I walk into Malwa? And then realised I didn't have military access, so I could only tread on the things that Tibet was occupying. Yeah, but this is where it really turns. They push back, they'd push Malwa back, and then I think this is the final big battle that you're looking at Moldavia during.
Oh, that's a shame. We were talking about whether or not it's worth Wallachia forming Romania.
Yeah, you really need some nice stuff off of.
Here we go. We're looking.
Oh, look, yeah, here we go. Come on, see it. Come on, there we go. Look, this is the stuff.
Yeah,
this is where we're going.
You say I miss things. I never miss things. I'm great at this. Other than not recording the audio or the video, that's okay.
Yes. See, look at that. My troops are okay.
Your troops are fairly good, and yeah, a lot of them. I presume there's still a fair number of banners here.
Yeah, I've got I'm only at 32 maximum, but yeah, I've got all 32.
And then Tibet runs away. Timurids runs away, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, because this is death war for him too, you know.
Yeah. Well, it was a sub, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he was going to fight. Qing, I got a royal marriage with Japan, but
yeah,
no alliance.
I was just looking at them being like, oh, has Japan betrayed Qing? And no, who's Qing saying, Japan, do as I say or die?
No, I got rid of the alliance when he had declared on my enemies because I was cross with them.
That's bold.
And then I saw that I had. Yeah. And then I saw that I had the victory card. Well, so I knew this war was going to be won. I had the victory card on Japan. I was cross with Japan. So I wanted there to be no truce when this war was finished.
Yeah. That's so brave.
I had this victory card, so I still wanted to be friends with him. But I was upset, to say the least, that he effectively joined my enemies against people that I am friends with without even asking me, or like checking in and being like, by the way, do you think this is a good idea? Or like, by the way, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
So I was a bit upset. So then I got rid of the alliance, and then I had a victory card on him that I told him I would get from the beginning anyway. So I wanted there to be no truce at the end of this. You know, one way or another.
Yeah, it's me going like, well, I'm not sure he's going to be able to keep this unless he declares a war.
Yeah. I've also forgot that I have calls on Taiwan. I'm 100% going to get a victory card there.
Yeah, definitely. If you're allied with them, at least.
Really? Is it more likely to go on your allies?
Definitely, yeah.
Huh.
And cores don't necessarily matter. It's especially if it's land that you have lost.
Right, so I haven't lost any. Okay.
No. So even if you sell provinces, it doesn't get rid of it. That makes it more. If you sell provinces, it makes it more likely for the victory card to spawn on the provinces you've sold.
Right. Now, does Oda border? Now, does Shimazu border Japan up in
No.
Alaska and the Cook Rails? Are they not more than one seat away?
I highly doubt it.
But Japan goes quite far north in those little islands.
I don't think it's that close.
Okay. Yeah, look at that governing capacity.
Yeah. It's just so on the edge. It's like.
Yeah, I'm using everything. I've got giving land to everyone to get the extra 300.
Yeah. And then looking at the reforms you can take, because it's not long before you can take one that.
Yeah, I don't know what to take. I might. Yeah, l'état-c'est-moi. I might take the. I need to wait to the year of absolutism before I take it, to be honest, so that I can see.
Well, if you take
whether I need
if you take minimum autonomy in territories, and you do make things a trade company, which you can do because of the weird way that trade companies make work now, you gain the minimum autonomy in territories modifier. That actually like doubles the amount of money that the amount of money and manpower that you would normally get out of those.
Might be good with Iraq.
Hello. There we go. Well, the audio's back. This is where I realised it was all broken. So let's end this here. Goodbye, guys.
Yeah, it was set to nothing. The default was just nothing, I suppose. The entire thing's being silent.
Next episode will be me talking about this. Bye, guys. Reel me back again. Bye.